nothing. Top of the afternoon to you. Hey, Black. Hi, baby. How you doing, my love? How are you doing? I hope you ain't working too hard, sweetheart. And how are you doing, Black Lion? Where's the real intro? There it is. There you go. That's the real intro. I made me a new intro. Countdown. Hello, Daphne. How are you? Good to see you, Black. How's Mama Cricket doing? Hi, Leanna. Good evening to you. I tricked you. And how did I do that? Did I sneak one in where you least expect it? Hi, Charlene. Hi, Charles. How you guys doing this afternoon? She's good. She's tired from working all day. Oh, boy, I can imagine. That's what happens when you work. You're tired. I be tired, too. But this is better than work. It said I was live and the intro got me. Oh, okay. Greetings from Valdosta, Georgia. Jackie Hogan. How are you, Jackie? Hello, Dr. Charles Bennett. Blessings all in the name of Jesus. Amen to that. Had to stop him for, okay, now we ain't going to be blaspheming. Hi, Philly Phil. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. I hope y'all are having a wonderful evening. We're just going to kind of pick up where he left off in terms of the discussion about this case. Good evening from Durham, North Carolina. I got a granddaughter in Raleigh. I'm familiar with Durham. Well, is she in Durham? No. I think she moved to Charlotte. Yeah. Wonderful place. Letha Robinson Smith. How are you, sweetie? Good evening, Auntie from St. Louis. We got all kind of good cities up here in the chat this evening. Yes, sir. Yes, she was born in Raleigh. Okay. I'm in Charlotte. Oh, wow, Love Jones. You know what? I have a certain place in my heart for your name, Love Jones. My son had that tattooed on his arm, Love Jones, and he named his oldest son Elijah Love Jones. So his middle name is Love. So I got a special a special place in my heart for your name. You may move to Raleigh. Oh, okay. It's a nice place. Nice place. Hey, ER Will. Philly Phil's in the. Oh no, he said, "Hey, Philly Phil." Yes, Philly Phil 714 is a member. I'm gonna start taking suggestions about what I could offer my members. I've been so wrapped up in this Angie Stone sector that I haven't really taken a whole lot of time to try to figure out what I can do for my membership, because you guys mean the world to me as well. So I think it would be most helpful if I could get some suggestions, what you might like to see. Is there any type of activities you guys might like to participate in, or do you like gifts in the mail, or I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. So let me know if you have suggestions. My email is in my description on my channel, and I've been cleaning up my emails, so I'm definitely gonna see it. So yes, I welcome you here this afternoon, and we plan to have a good time. Now I don't know if what's that? What is this? Sergeant Gummy Bear. At first it was Sergeant Nefarious. Then he changed his name. So maybe there's two of them. They got the same voice, nevertheless. And one of them is a preacher. So I think that would be Sergeant Gummy, Reverend Gummy, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, I think he's going to jump in over here. But if not, that's quite all right. He's got them dogs to take care of. And they got to eat. So we can hold it down right over here. Amen. Amen. Hi, Karen Smith. Hello again. Good to see you. So, did you guys enjoy that live next door? Greetings from California, Divine Goddess. What part of California you in, sweetie? Please say the Bay Area. Greetings from California. Used to live in Oakland and Hayward, San Leandro. DJ Wilma's Grown and Sexy channel. All right, honey. Hey, beautiful. I'm in the Bay Area. Okay. All right. You got a friend in me, hon. 94th and Birch. Right off of East 14th. Hi, Margaret Moore. How are you, sweetheart? Dawn Beard is in the house. Good to see you all. Hey, Jess. What's up, girl? He working you, honey. He working you. Dr. Rosie Clark Ministries. Hello, doctor. Thank you, sweetheart. Blessings to you as well. Blessings to you as well. I love to be around grown folk. I've run a daycare out of my house, so sometimes I'm so, entangled with children. I have to get away from them and be around some grown people. Thank you so much, loving myself, my beautiful sister. Yes, faith is all we need. Hey, sweetheart, you got that right. I love your name because I live by that name. Everyone smash the like button. Absolutely. If you came in and forgot to hit it, just punch it a couple times. Protected by God. How are you, love? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, I guess I'm still reeling. I was able to kind of regroup from that video, but he dropped more nuggets for us to look at. So, hi, Jackie Hogan. I'm telling you, this is getting deeper and deeper. I'm doing great, Sean the boy. I am doing great. And how are you, sweetie? I can see straight through you is in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. We walk by faith, not by sight. Absolutely. And sometimes we got to remind ourselves of that. It's nowadays it can be difficult for some folks. Nikki Patterson, how you doing, love? Yes, good to see you guys. Hello again, just the best and protected by God and everyone, fam. Yep, this is one big family. We are one big, happy, grown family. We're gonna sit here and talk about this case. I wrote that title. I'm like, who wrote that title? I wrote that title. See, my dimensions is creeping in. What does the future? I love you too, Sean the boy. What does the future hold for Shaina? I wouldn't want to be in them shoes. Love Jones says, I was in and out giving the kids a bath. I will go back and watch tomorrow. Okay, love. Yes, I'm sure you will thoroughly enjoy it. Absolutely. But that's a pretty big question. What does the future hold for Shaina? Yes, Love Jones, that's one possibility. And most likely, if the right people get that right information, as he said that he would be taking to them, uh, it's just a matter of time. Hi, Texas J. How you doing? Yeehaw. What part of Texas you from, sweetheart? I asked because I got family in Dallas. So I got a soft spot for Dallas, Texas. Sean the boy said, Auntie, she have to be in the jail cell. Yeah, see how many commercials you can pull off from that place. It's a shame. Fort Worth. Okay. That's the sister city. Hi, Sabria. How are you, my love? I love you too. I love you too. I just can't imagine sitting in her place right now, cuz she's got to feel the heat. She's got to. Look how much attention we're getting. Hello, Mickey. I am in a suburb of Dallas, Texas. Ms. Cat. Hi, sweetie. You're in a suburb of. You know what? I told my husband, if we ever move up out of here, we going to Texas. I want to go to. I want to go to Dallas. Okay, Black says, hey, Texas. I'm from Texas too. I was in Killeen by Fort Hood. Okay. Yes. Yes, Love Jones. That's going to be real interesting. He holds on to that information like gold. I can't shake it out of him. So I got to wait just like everybody else. She didn't know about the storm. She still ain't had the full wrath of the storm. I would love to. Oh my goodness. I came down there for Thanksgiving of 2023 and hated to leave. Your dear mother lives in Dallas, Texas, Rosie. Oh, I was able to visit some very beautiful people that come up to visit the church from Dallas, and we got a chance to visit with them in their home. So I love me some Dallas, I really do. So yeah, we might make that move. It just depends. I got grandkids I got to worry about. Yeah, I know, Black. Yeah, the cost of living is cheaper, but see, I'm looking at it from this standpoint. If I sit here and collect my retirement from this state is higher than that state. And if I start it here, it'll transfer down there when I move. So I can live off of my current. Well, I haven't retired yet, but the monies that I would get here in Washington State, I have to apply for it first, start getting it, and then move to Dallas, and that's when I can cut up. Yes, definitely, different costs of living, but the homes there are beautiful. Oh my God, yes. I'm trying to think, and the same with my husband, because we're gonna both retire about the same time. Let's see. Sean the boy said, sometime, Auntie, when you have a good hat, a lot of people take advantage of it. That's true. A good heart and good hat, because I've lost some hats letting people borrow them. We have to hold everybody involved accountable, no matter who it is. That's right. Let the chips fall where they may, and God help them. That's right, Lorraine. She has not felt the eye of the perfect storm. And you know what? Mother Jones said, I thought storms was loud. She said, what is a quiet storm? I thought storms was loud. But a good storm sneak up on you. when you least expect it, because it's quiet. And then it just pounces on you. Ugh. Yes, the homes are gorgeous there. And you get more bang for your buck. Exactly, Miss Cat. My sister-in-law, she bought a home. Oh my God, it is beautiful. And, for what she paid for it, I could have gotten almost twice as much home for my money that, I would be bringing to the table. So I'm definitely thinking very serious about moving to Texas when I retire. Most definitely. Why do you say that, Black Lion? Because of the. Okay, I wish you luck with that, Auntie. Texas is beautiful down there. You would love it, but always remember, shake out your shoes. I don't care where you're a shakeout. Wait, I don't care where you're at. Shake out your shoes. Okay, I think I got it. In other words, yes, scorpions. I was going to say snakes and scorpions. Oh, Lord. What you trying to discourage me, Black? Don't do that. Exactly. Protected by God. Nothing good will come unless she repents. Yep. And do right by them kids. Absolutely. Boss Lady 28. How you doing, Boss Lady? Hi, Auntie Mickey. I enjoy you and Tony's talk show. Uh, you were talking about oldies. Don't forget Isaac Hayes. Justice for Angie Stone. Yes. Oh my God, Isaac Hayes. Between him and Barry White, I don't know who's got the deepest voice. Man, but they got two separate styles too. So ooh wee. Grown and sexy. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, okay, Black, you just warning me. I appreciate it. I need that warning because sometimes I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. And if I step on a scorpion, it's on and popping. We're going to be fighting. Oh, exactly, Faith. They should have listened to God and not greed. Hi, Mama Cricket. Let's see. Miss Cat said born and raised here and never saw a scorpion but snakes. Yep. Okay. That makes me nervous. Thank you for being a new member, Loving Myself. Thank you so much for joining the new membership. Oh goodness, Brittany Lynch said hot buttered soul. Absolutely. Man, I miss Isaac Hayes and Barry White. I wish they could have lived forever. Black said, we had scorpions where my uncle lived really bad, and I'd have to shake my shoes out every morning. The little yellow one. Oh my God. Ugh. I want justice for Angie so much, and I really believe that God is all over this case. She came to the public for a reason. You're absolutely right. This kind of nonsense got to stop. It's got to stop. Doesn't matter if it's coming from the bottom or the top. It's got to stop. I didn't mean to make a rhyme or spit bars, as they say. I spit bars, but it's got to stop. You sleepy, Mama Cricket, but you here. Thank you, love. Thank you. Faith is all we need, said, remember Texas make up their own laws. I moved from there. Oh, wee. Thank you for the warning. Auntie, have to get your boots. Oh my God. Boots on the ground. I got to learn that dance. I haven't taken time to learn that dance, but you know what? I will. I kind of got some of it, you know. Dun, 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 dun. Uh, 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 uh. And then the fan. Dun, dun, dun. I can't remember what I did with my grandmother's fan, though. I had the perfect fan for that, and I lost it somewhere in the house. But I can always get a new one. So, yeah, we going to have a boots on the ground Friday one day. I don't know what we're going to do for that day, but we're going to have boots on the ground Friday. Let's see. Yeah, they're still considered a self-governed state. Okay. I wonder if Pillsbury was the lookout pertains called Shana right after the accident. You know what? Anything is possible at this point, Lorraine. Nothing would surprise me. After yesterday, you can't really surprise me no more than that. That shook me to my core. Even if her kids don't care about the royalties, or at least get it for her grandkids and their children in the future, she worked hard for money and legacy. She sure did. She sure did. Scorpio mama. We was just talking about scorpions. Welcome to the chat, love. Loving Myself says, I was thinking about my son the other day and was kind of down and came across Mother Jones' video and it made my day. Oh, bless your heart. Thank you. Man, Mother Jones is a hoot. That's all I can say. I have to sometimes I gotta pull her spirit in just to feel better. It's nothing like back in the day when we had them older people that, we as young people we would laugh at them, right? But they was a lot of sense. We just didn't realize it. Oh, DJ Wilma, thank you so much for this. Is that a super chat or I can't tell the difference? Super sticker, super chat. It's super to me. I thank you so much. Okay, Black said hello all. Don't forget the like button. Yes, if you didn't get a chance to hit it, hit it, hit it. But one thing I will never and you guys got to hold me to this. Honestly, I speak from the heart on this. I have a hard time with people that beg on their channels. Not downing anybody. It's just not my style. If you want to give, please feel free to give. But I will never, and I promise you, I will never sit on this platform and ask you to contribute. You understand what I'm saying? Because I came on here out of fun for one thing. And yes, I do want to get paid by YouTube, but I'm not going to beg the people that take time out to, come and chill out with me. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate what you give. I'm definitely appreciative, but never will I sit here and beg and tell you hit the Cash App and hit the Super Chat and pay for support the show and all that stuff. You're supporting the show just by being here. Anything after that is gravy. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say about that. And y'all gonna hold me to that too. Hi, Victoria. Good to see you, love. So yes, we're gonna hold me accountable. If you ever see me, going one way, just push me back into place. Exactly, Faith. God's children don't have to beg. No, we don't have to beg. He'll always provide what we need. So, with that said, just make sure to keep me in check with regard to that. Because you know how some things come up and people might say, well, can you ask for this? Can you ask for that? No, I can't. No, I can't. Yes. So, as I usually do, I invite whoever would like to come up to the platform. Hello, Styles. How are you? Jackie Hogan. Thank you, sweetie. If anybody would like to come up to the platform, we can have a discussion about this Angie Stone sector, the case as it stands right now. I will put the link. I'll put the link in the chat, and you're free to click on the link. Okay. Dr. Rosie said, I love what you said earlier about being careful that we don't slip over into blasphemy. Exactly. I mean, we was having fun, but wait a minute. Hold it. Hold it. Let's back up now. We can't go there. We can't go that route. Yes. Yes, I enjoy having fun too. I'll be the first to start cutting a step out of fun. But I cannot blaspheme the Holy Spirit. I can't do that out of fun or anything else. Oh my goodness. He cut up, protected by God. He had a good time. He really had a good time. We just kind of went over the other information, and then he talked about Walter Millsap. Uh, he got in that butt, let's just say. He got in that butt of the man that should have been protecting her, and rightfully so. He was not doing his job, allegedly. I have to keep saying that word, allegedly, because people be tripping and want to sue folk because you don't say allegedly. So, um, there we have it. Allegedly, he was not doing his job. He had a great broadcast. He certainly did. Thank you, Millionaires Cove, for becoming a new member. Thank you so much. Fonda said, hello, Auntie, mods and chat. Earth Angel Gabriel is here. Yes. Oh, Lauren C., that's my girl. Good evening, Auntie Mickey, Jess, mods and chat. Yes, you know what? I'm going to put the invite link in the chat. And anybody that would like to join the panel, feel free. Now, as you were probably aware of, we had a surprise visit yesterday from Miss Jaguar Wright. And I'm going to address this very short and sweet. Some people felt that I shouldn't have allowed her up here on the platform. And let me say this. I understand exactly where people are coming from. Um, I am aware of Miss Wright's reputation on YouTube. I've been watching Jaguar Wright for about a year, and I do watch her content. However, this is a place of peace. I'm going to say that again. This is a place of peace. And I would have been less than what I stand on, because when I say I stand on business, sometimes I do things that aren't always popular. But yes, Faith, she did come in peace. And I would not have known that if I had not let her come up. You understand what I'm saying? She apologized. Now, let me give you this disclaimer. Just because someone apologizes does not mean that you got to mess with them all the time. You know what I'm saying? I know how to read the room, and I accept her apology. We have no beef, but that will be the last time that I allow her up here, only because this is a place of peace. Hi, Angie. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. That's my girl from long time ago. I thank you so much. My baby sister's best friend. I love you. So again, I just have to share that with you guys because, some people might think I'm weak or too nice, or y'all ain't seen that other side of me. I don't ever want you guys to see that other side of me ever. It ain't pretty. And I'm just being real. And I just want her to know that there's no ill will. I appreciate her coming in peace. But I have to keep this place, this spot, this space that we share, you and I. We share this place of peace, and we want to keep it peaceful. And it can't be peaceful when there's different, feelings. And, I have to meet the needs of my people first. Do I make myself clear? You are my family. You are my YouTube family. You take time out of your busy day to sit with me on my little platform. And with that said, I have to meet the consensus of the family. Now there may be one or two, maybe three that don't agree and may want to include others, but I have to look out for the consensus of the family as a whole and what's best for this family as a whole. And I want peace in my house. This is my house. But LT, that's just it. I know how to read the room. Okay. I don't want to go off into no details about her because she's a human being just like me. And I want to respect her as a human being, as a fellow black woman. I'm going to give her all the respect as a fellow black woman, but I'm going to keep peace in my house. Exactly, Scorpio. That's why I said I know how to read the room. I know how to read the room. And I'm not taking applications for residents. I love you too, MSC. But again, like I said, I appreciate her coming by. I really do. I appreciate her coming by, and I appreciate all of the suggestions from others that have concern. And I want you all to know that I hear you. I hear you, and I feel you. And I'm gonna try to respect all those involved. Some feelings might come up because of my decision, but I have to stand on business from now on about that. So I just had to get that disclaimer off the table before we go into anything else. Again, let me put that link in the chat if anybody else would like to come up, and we can hold a discussion about the Angie Stone case. I welcome you to come up. Please keep your channel clear and drama free. Amen. Thank you, Lucifer. I appreciate it. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Rosie. I just I see enough. I've seen enough. And it's debilitating. The drama is debilitating. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing it, not just out there on YouTube, just in general. I'm just tired of so much drama. But when you bring it to my house, I have to shut the door. I have to shut the door. It is disheartening. They love me. It is disheartening. All praise to the Most High. Okay. All right, Angie, heading to yoga, but we'll catch the replay. All right, my love. You have a good evening, okay? Yes. Hi, LaSonia. How are you, sweetie? Self-care. All right, Fonda. All right. Now, for anybody that would like to jump on and we can come up and have a conversation about this case. Um, I know that somebody out there has some feelings and have some ideas as to where they think this is going. Exactly. Thank you, Charles. Exactly. And that's what we're doing. We moving on. Anybody that would like to come up to the platform and discuss this Angie Stone case, I welcome you. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm not going to be the only one talking. All right, Millionaires Cove. I see you, sweetheart. I'm about to add you. Hello, my love.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I finally got a chance to get my phone right, and I'm driving, so I probably have to put my phone down, but I'll still be able to hear you because I don't want to get a ticket.
Okay, ma'am. I understand.
But yeah, I just left Quiet Storms live. I'm so
Uh-huh.
disheartened about the whole situation. Um, I feel really bad because just her in general, just being the person that she was, hasn't gotten a lot of coverage through the news media, and I just thought that was just really odd
That's
because a
sad
lot
in
of
itself.
celebrities, yes, a lot of celebrities or actors and actresses, they get a lot of publicity when something happens to them. And even if they
Yes.
don't know at that time, they'll come back at a later date and tell you what they found. But they haven't
Yes.
done that with her. They only showed it, a couple of times, just saying that she was in a car accident in Alabama, and that was
Exactly.
it. And I just
That
thought
was
that was
it.
weird. Like,
Yeah.
like
And
I
it's
really
still
think that's
weird.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still weird. They're still not talking about it.
So I was just like, okay, well, something's got to be going on because even though, people may not think of her as a big time celebrity, like some of the people that are out here and they're getting have a lot of fan base. She still had people that cared about her. She still was in the industry for a long period of time. So I feel that
Absolutely.
she still should get what's due to her. Someone saying, where still there's no information on Angie Stone's case, but once we find out, we'll come back and at a later date and let you know. They
Right.
haven't done any of that.
Right. But you know what else bothers me? I think I made a statement a while back that said something to the effect of, I was referring to law enforcement before, but I'm going to apply this same thing to the entertainment field. Sometimes we got to take care of our own house because others ain't going to do it for us. Now, when I say taking care of our own house, the people that are in the industry, the entertainment industry, whether it be the music industry or even Hollywood, because she did both. She acted and sang and
Yeah,
created, and
yeah.
all of these fellow artists are silent.
So you don't
I'm
think
not
that's weird that no
understanding that.
celebrities come out and said
Right.
anything, even though she had just a select few of celebrities at her funerals. I mean, with just a select few, but even
Very
they
select.
haven't come back out and said anything else, about it, or they're not advocating for her. But I
No.
haven't seen anything about anybody advocating for her. I
Yeah.
just think it's really weird, for
Yeah.
someone that was there at the funeral and saying how much they adored her, they loved her music, what she stood for,
Right.
what she did for the industry. But nobody's talking. Nobody is, you know, if it was my mom, I just feel some type of way, and I literally cry sometimes just listening to the information that they are coming up with and how everything is going, like going.
Right.
Even if I don't want to come out in public right then, but seeing someone, even though they may not know everything that has happened in the case, I would want to come out and thank everybody that is out here trying to find out what happened to my mom. I would want to thank them for their
Mhm.
hard work that they're doing. I won't come out being angry about
Right.
it. You're not, talking about it. And I understand you're grieving, and I get that, because everybody
Yeah.
grieves in a different way, and I can't tell anybody how to grieve. But
Yes.
my mom died mysteriously, and everybody got a different story of what's going on.
Man.
I don't know. You couldn't shut me up. You couldn't
Uh-uh.
shut me up. You might as well
Uh-uh.
going to take me out with
Okay.
whatever you got to do. You got to might as well come full force for me because I'm going to fight for my mom, and I'm not going to
Right.
fear man because I would want to know. And I got people that's behind me, that's backing me, that's trying to find out whether they're a fan, a friend, or family,
Yes.
or whatever it may be. I want to know. And
Absolutely.
I won't feel alone. Okay, well, God, no, I got strangers that out here advocating for my mom, trying to find out for
Right.
my mom what's going
Right.
on. But maybe it's
Uh-huh.
just me because I'm old school
No.
and I'm
It's
just,
not just you. It's not
you
just
know,
you. But you know what? Fonda made a very good point and observation. And she said the other celebrities are silent because they are going through the same thing. But
Wow.
here's my thing about that. A closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah.
If you don't open your mouth and let it be known what's going on. I mean, look what Taraji did. They wanted to talk bad about her, but guess what? It brought light to what she was dealing with.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, what's her name? Oh my God. I was just talking about her earlier. Her name
Gabrielle,
starts no Gabrielle too, but she was on murder.
Kerry
How to
Washington.
solve a murder. How to solve what is it? How to solve a murder? I mess up a title in a heartbeat.
Is it
But
Kerry
she's a
Washington?
very no, she's a beautiful, beautiful chocolate woman. Very elegant. What is her name?
I'm
Starts
trying
with
to
a
figure out.
V, I believe. Oh my goodness, that's gonna kill me. Viola Davis.
Oh,
Thank
I
you,
was just going to
Brittany.
call her name. Okay.
That woman, she has come out and spoke on the uh disparities. I can't pronounce the word, but between African American artists and non-African American artists, and the pay disparities are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now Viola Davis, is in the same caliber as like Glenn Close and what's her name, Julia Roberts. All those women that are making millions per movie.
Yeah.
Yet she, with all of her training, is barely getting crumbs in comparison, and that's not right, and it's blatantly done
Yeah.
throughout the industry, and something has got to be done about it. And I think the problem is that not enough people in the industry are willing to stand together and
Because they
just
don't want to
make
mess
their
up their
voices
coins.
right.
They're afraid to mess up their coins. But
But they
until
can't.
you get close to God,
They exactly, first of all, you got
until
to put
you
your
get
faith
close
in
to
God.
God, and
But you gotta stand together too.
yeah. But once you see, I'm you know how you can go through things, and when you
Yes.
go and I've not okay. I won't say it like this. I've not always been into the church. Well, I used to go to church, but I didn't know God like I know Him now.
Uh-huh.
Until you just like really have, until you hit rock bottom part,
Right.
and you have
Right.
to find out who's for you and who's not for you. And all the time, even when you was going through and God was talking to you, but you didn't have the clarity to hear His voice like you should. And
Right.
then so you just have to go through something to know. Until you know who God is, everything you need, he will provide for you. But if
That's
you
right.
don't open up your mouth and try to do what's right, you're gonna stay in that same predicament because he's not gonna let you struggle and suffer for what you need. When you stand up for him, he's gonna provide for you. And a lot of industry people in the industry, I think they are so used to getting that money, and that money got their minds
Yes.
gone, where they can feel, oh well, I'm making $30,000 a movie. Oh, I ain't gonna let
Right.
that go. Just go ahead and talk. But you can get, God would bless you 10 times over than
10
what
times
you are
over.
getting now. But you don't want to stand up to help somebody else because, like I said the other night on Storm, it's like us, and I'm not talking about everybody, but us African American Black people. It's like we are crabs in the bucket. As soon as somebody gets up, the other
Pull
person
them
is putting that
down.
person back down, and you putting them
Yeah.
down and say, "Hey, Sister April, let me stand by you. Let me help you. I'm gonna, show me what you did. I will show you what I know, and we can do this together so we can
Yes.
accomplish. We've been through so much as a race already, and
Already.
I just think that our forefathers and foremothers have fought so hard, and that's the hard part for me in my heart to know that
Mhm.
our great grandmothers and great grandfathers and back in the day was fighting so hard to have rights to get things that the other races had. And they fought so hard and some people lost their lives. And here
Mhm.
we're in a better situation and we We just gonna set ourselves back. I gonna say 30,000 years
Yeah.
because we going back to the same thing where we're so money hungry.
Yep.
That greed and that money hungry. I want to have the final things. I want to drive this. I want to have that. And then you watching your sisters and brothers just go through turmoil, and you got
Yeah.
the resources to help them, but you don't want to see them have more than you got, so you let them stay where they're at. It's
Right.
just
As if
mind
it's a
blowing.
competition or something.
Yeah,
This
it's
isn't a
mind blowing.
competition. There's plenty of money out there for everybody. And they got to realize that. But see, certain demographics want us to think that it's very limited, and it's not. There's plenty of money out there. They seem to have plenty of it. They ain't fighting over who getting what.
No,
I have a question though. Is
uh-huh.
there somebody out in here that has their radio on? I can hear something in the background. Has anybody got a television on or a radio?
Oh, I done. I'm in my car. I have my radio on.
Okay. Okay, it looks like Faith muted her. Okay, that must have been it. Okay, well, I really appreciate you saying what you said. We've got Charles in the building, we got Faith in the building, and Mr. Charles, did is there something you want to say?
Yeah, that's why I'm up here.
I know that's right. I just thought I was knocking on the door. See you still there?
Look, I gotta let me ask a question first. And
Yes,
that Shana Shell's video, that was Pillsbury, wasn't it?
that is the implication. Yes, that
Yeah, it
is
looked
the
just like her.
implication.
Yeah,
Look just
okay.
like her.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you, I've been watching this from March the 1st.
Yes,
Before I even met you. She's gonna be the key. Once Tony put her together,
yes,
she's been around the whole time.
the whole time.
Whole time. And Shana Shell had to put her at that scene of that accident. That was
Exactly.
amazing. That's amazing. If that's
Yeah,
her, she going this that's gonna bust this thing wide open. Trust
that's
me.
right. And but
Yeah.
let's just say the word allegedly, just to be
Well,
just to
yeah,
make sure we're
allegedly.
covering ourselves. But you know what?
Yeah,
If it looked like a duck, walk like a duck, talk like a duck, quack.
yeah,
What is it?
because the
It's a
thing
duck.
about it, and that looked just like her.
Yes, it
I mean,
did. It really
The
did.
and that
lips gave it
video, that
away.
thing, and the thing about it, that was taken a long time ago.
Exactly.
So if that's her, Shana Shell been dealing with that chick for a while.
That's what shook me. I mean,
Yeah, so
I was
if
shaken.
Tony, yeah, that's crazy, man, because that's gonna be a key piece to this whole thing. To get
Exactly.
behind Shana Shell. And I can see her if Tony, he's a serious investigator. But if he get his
Exactly.
cards right, Shana going to jail. Because she put all
Yeah.
this together. I can see it. I can see it
Mhm.
coming. Like I said, I watched this from day one.
Mhm.
All the evidence, all
Yeah.
the conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
everything. And that right there, if that's her, that's a key piece.
Yes, it
But it may
is.
be quite a few going to jail. But it seems like there's a whole bunch of people behind each other.
But you know what? I think Shana is the main one. When I seen that video with that Pillsbury girl in it, Shayna is the main one.
Yeah, I
And
believe.
believe it or not, I know Lee Thiel a crooked dude, and Tony gonna dig a little deeper see what's here. But I think this thing is Shayna all the way. Once I seen that video, and with that girl Pillsbury in it,
Yeah.
because I don't think Lee Thiel back then was messing with Shayna or knew Shayna probably.
I don't know, but I tell you what Tony brought to the forefront yesterday, you couldn't have seen that in a movie. I mean,
Right.
that was the kind of material you see in a movie. That was a real like cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it back and look at her again.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know where he digging to get. I don't know.
Man,
He need to join the FBI.
I'm telling
That's
you
what,
that or start making movies because that was the
Mm,
kind of material movies are made of.
right.
This
mm.
is
It's
real
like a
life.
right. You like a mystery. And check this out, and I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
All this time we've been trying to find Pillsbury, and he
Yeah.
does. He got a video like years back, and
Yeah.
allegedly she's in it. That's crazy. That's crazy work.
Can you believe it, man?
Yeah,
And
everybody looking for.
it's something
That,
the way she disappeared
And the
after,
thing
her
about it,
little
and another
video.
thing, I think it's her because paperwork when he was on there early and donated, he looked at that video. He knows
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
So that's why I'm agreeing that it's her. He knew it. He said when he got back from Dallas, he looked at it and he gonna look and you can see it. But thanks for allowing me
Mm.
to be on
Oh,
your
I'm
platform.
glad to have you, Charles. Thank you so much.
Hi, Auntie. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Faith. Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Faith?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Millionaires Cove,
hi, how are you?
you hit on everything that I was thinking. And
Uh,
Auntie, I know this is a spiritual thing because every time you hear me say something, I'm typing. I'm like, oh man,
uh,
she just said it. So,
wow.
but I think it went the way God planned it to go. Because
Yes,
had it been investigated by law enforcement, and I'm gonna
right.
be careful what I say,
Yes.
um, I think that because who she was in the
Mhm.
industry, it would have
Yes.
just went under the table because they're used to it,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. If
And
the other
so
ones did, I'm
exactly,
sure if this one would. But this one
exactly.
is
And
just
then
so crazy.
yeah, because remember she got poisoned with a needle before, and nothing else,
Exactly.
came of that.
Right. And she almost lost her life then.
Yes,
Exactly. And
yes.
that's when it all, I believe, I'm just saying, I
Mhm.
believe that she got an awakening to
Yes.
everything that was going on.
Yes.
And I believe that she started moving people from her because
Right.
once they showed her that they couldn't be trusted and they were a part of it, she moved them out the way.
Yeah.
But she was also scared because she saw herself being alienated
Right.
by everybody. And then the ones that were really in it, she
Mhm.
saw that they were just so, she saw that she was surrounded by
Mm.
these snakes. And I think she
Jesus.
made it seem like, well, Shayna, let's get this going on so we can, get different artists out. I think she kind of played in it with Shayna in order to put
Uh-huh.
herself on TV
Right.
or on YouTube to
Mhm.
tell everybody what was going on.
Make
Okay,
herself
you see, I'm
visible.
sorry. So you see how Angie be looking at her in that video, it's like when she was making suggestion and Angie was giving her that,
Yes.
that crazy look at
Yes,
her.
Yes.
And I said, maybe just me, because I said, why is Angie looking at her like that?
Yeah.
because she already knew what was
I
going
think she
on.
knew
She was
too.
she was just hoping, and honestly, and I hope this is not what's going on, but all of this looks like a movie. And it looks
Didn't I
like
just
they
say
had
that?
already,
Planned
they
it,
were it, huh?
You
planned
you
it.
couldn't plan
They
it
were
out
already
any
in
better.
production.
It was like watching a blockbuster movie play
Yes,
out with a cliffhanger.
yes,
And that's how
yes.
hard that video hit yesterday. I was shaking. I
But you
was
know what I
shaking.
saw, what I saw too? And I
Uh-huh.
don't know if this volume is down, so I don't mean to be talking over you guys,
Oh,
but
you're
I'm trying to
fine. You're
turn it up.
fine.
But it seems like ever since she started her dialysis
Uh-huh.
and started, they she didn't have the money. She didn't have the money to get the transplant. So
Uh-huh.
because she didn't get the transplant, it's only a certain time frame that you're gonna make it without a kidney.
Right.
And it's like they start putting stuff in place,
Whew.
and it's
Yeah.
sad.
So that
Yeah.
greed was kicking in.
That
Yes.
money,
That,
all
that
they
was like
saw
that's some
was money.
easy money.
They gonna make the money off of this because she's gonna leave if she don't get the money anyway to get the kidney.
Right.
So
Right.
they're just gonna, and it's sad, but the way that it looks, it's all bad
It is.
because it makes it look like she may have known
Well, she
what they were
dropped little
doing.
hints. She dropped
Yes.
little hints. She said, "I don't know how they gonna come after me."
Yes.
Those
But
were
she
her
also
exact
she
words.
gave all the names.
Mm,
The only name, and I believe she gave it, we just didn't catch it,
mhm,
to all the players. She gave the names in her video to all of it. She even gave the name to her lawyer.
mm,
Did you catch
Oh,
that?
I missed that one. I got to go back and play that.
yeah,
She said that she has a lawyer, her
mhm.
lawyer Antavius. Do you know who he is?
I heard that. I don't
It
know
sounds
who he is
familiar.
specifically, but I heard that name.
I think he's an entertainment lawyer because a lot of people from the entertainment has him.
Mhm,
I
Entertainment
think somebody
industry
was on
has him.
TikTok was talking about him.
But
Yeah.
she said it. I think she gave all the names of the players in that one clip where she
yes.
was talking about they gonna give me my money one way or the
Give
other.
me my coins.
Her
Yes.
coins. That's what she said,
Uh-huh.
and she gave all the names.
Uh-huh.
Just go back and listen to all the names that she gave. Now she did give other names,
Mhm.
and maybe one of those names is her assistant that they booted away
Uh-huh.
that has all the information. I
Right.
think he's the key to it all.
Yeah.
You know who I'm
I
talking
think so.
about?
Starts
The
with
one
a
that they was
O.
talking about the other night, and they was saying
Uh,
that one that Miss Juanita was saying that they booted
The
out.
one Miss
They
Juanita
kicked
never
him out.
gave the name to.
Yeah, the one they
oh,
said. Yeah, she said last night that
wait a
he's
minute.
been with her for over 20 plus years, and
Wasn't
he
this the
has all of her
gentleman that wanted to
information on
speak?
everything.
Yeah, was this the gentleman that was up to speak? And
No,
okay,
No,
no,
because
that's not.
somebody
no,
That was the
stopped somebody from
hairdresser.
speaking.
and
But
he's
I
never
think
That
been.
was the
he's
He wasn't even
another
at the
hairdresser.
man.
funeral. She said, "Yeah,
Yeah, this was a man at the funeral, and he
Yeah.
was up to
no, he wasn't
speak.
even at the funeral." She said he wasn't even there. He didn't. He didn't go.
Oh,
The
okay.
one that spoke at the funeral, they wouldn't let speak. He was the hairdresser,
Yeah,
and
that's the
Okay.
paperwork had
hairdresser.
him. He
Okay.
was on paperwork. He came on. He's
Yeah,
like he don't want to be no part of this because it's not. None of this is sounding right to him, and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
he just want justice for Angie. That's what he
Right.
wants, but he don't want to
Right.
be in the middle of none of that.
yeah. That's what
Lord
he
have
said.
mercy. Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
but I think the assistant the
Uh-huh.
assistant can fill in the blanks for everything.
Right.
But
Right.
what it looks like to me and what I just my spirit just says it. I think it was a production, a movie
Oh yeah.
production.
Yeah.
And I hate to, feel that way,
Yeah.
but that's
I
what it
felt that way
looks
just
like.
seeing where the van ended up from the original place that it rested
Yep,
once it hit or flipped, and then when the 18 wheeler hit the vehicle and it made it spin.
yep.
At one point in time, it was still in the road, but later on, you see the whole thing right there in the middle of the grass. It had to have been moved. That vehicle
Yeah,
had to be
of course.
moved. But
I think it went bad. I think they didn't expect for that to happen. And you
well,
know
here's
why? You know
huh,
why I think it happened? I
hmm.
think it happened because Angie didn't have on a seatbelt.
Okay. Well, I heard a report. I'm not sure. I don't know how valid this report is, but I did hear a report that there was an indication that her seatbelt had been cut.
Well, no, if you look at the pictures that paperwork had,
Uh huh.
that seatbelt was clicked. Oh, you know how you don't put
Right.
on your seatbelt and you
Uh
click it
huh.
behind you.
Yeah.
The
Huh.
seatbelt was like that.
Wow.
And so that's why I said I think it went bad because she didn't have on her seatbelt. Had she had
Uh
on her
huh.
seatbelt, she may have gotten scared,
But you know
and
what?
didn't and thought she was gonna get trapped in her seatbelt and took her seatbelt off.
Yeah. But you
But
know
it
what? I've had a question. I've had the same question for the last couple of weeks. And I don't know if anyone else has addressed this because there's been so much information being passed along. And sometimes I can't keep up with it all. But If they had 9 people in that vehicle, now follow me here,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
9 people in that Sprinter van,
Mm-hmm.
and they all spent at least an evening at the hotel, where was their luggage?
My point exactly. That's what I was just getting ready to ask y'all.
Where
I
was
said the
there
same.
was no
I
debris
said the
of
same thing.
luggage?
I said, where were the instruments?
Well, now the instruments, that can be that you can explain the instruments away because most venues will have instruments already set up for you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But I'm talking about the personal effects of the people that were in that vehicle. You can't tell me that they all just got in a van and drove to Alabama with nothing, no bags, no nothing to change clothes into. I mean, you're performing. You're sweating on a stage, in terms of her backup singers and band members. You're sweating on a stage. You ain't gonna just go home in them musty clothes. Let's be real
So let me
about it.
ask you a
Well,
question,
they said
Auntie.
that's what they went to the hotel for, right? Is to
Exactly.
shower up and
Where was their
get back.
luggage?
No, she said they went. No, her cousin said they went to go pick up the luggage that was left at the hotel to put in the
Yeah.
van to go home.
So
She
where
didn't say
was it?
freshen up. She said to go pick up the luggage that was left for her, Ashton, and Angie's luggage. That's what she
Okay.
said on the thing.
So where was it at the crash scene?
I'm gonna
Right.
say this.
Or
I
was it
don't
in
really.
another vehicle?
I don't think. No, I don't. I honest to God don't feel anybody was in that van when it crashed. Period. I think that was staged.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it was staged. How are you going to show a van being flipped over in the road? Usually, everybody that has come on the YouTube that have come on, no one they hadn't stopped the traffic from flowing. Cars was going by. Now in December, my coworker was killed. I was going
Mhm.
to pick up a friend from work, and we got stopped in traffic. We sat there for 2.5 hours. And
Uh-huh.
I said, God, I said, somebody must have got killed. I said, because we sitting here a long time and no traffic is moving. I said, you sitting here waiting this long, it's a
Mhm.
fatality.
Mhm.
And just to show it was a fatality, when I got to work the next day, come to find out I was sitting in the accident well of my coworker being killed. Did
Mm.
not know it. And they stopped the traffic for 2.5 hours. And when we finally got up to the accident, once they start letting the traffic go, they still
Right.
had it roped out, but the bodies was gone. So how you gonna show on the news where the traffic is going? No blood is in the vehicle. Nobody bumped their head or maybe had a concussion where the blood made it they hit their head. No blood was found in there. I don't feel anybody was in that van at all. I think it was staged.
So
And
do you think her
no cautious tape.
Nothing. So how
Okay,
can you
so
not
with that,
nobody have blood in the period? I mean, it's clean. That don't make sense.
well, now this is what happens when if you're going to say that, then you're going to
Alleged.
have to say that the cousin's interview was not correct. You're going to have to, oh, of course we pretty
Mm-hmm.
much feel that
And I said that
Dante's.
from the first time before he even did the interview.
Mhm.
If that was my if me if my cousin was killed and I'm in the same vehicle with her, you can stop me from running my mouth. I've probably been on every news platform that would take me to let know what happened that particular day. You couldn't sell my soul out for $50 million for me to lie to say something happened and it didn't.
Mhm.
Because I know once you get that money, if you don't do it right by God, it's gonna go through your hands like quicksand.
Right. I
You
just
won't
I
have it long.
The
So
only problem I have with with that scenario is that I really don't want to believe that her cousin is lying. I really believed
You
her
know what, Aunt Mickey? I was
interview.
thinking the same thing, but this is the thing. Remember, they said one guy flew back because he had had surgery, and he
Yes.
flew back. Okay,
Yes.
so if he flew back, then was he on the plane? I mean,
the van,
in the van when they went, and if he was in the van when they went, and one was taken off, then it would have led them to 8 people going back instead of 9.
So the two
But
twins,
Even still, though,
Angie,
it's still
her cousin,
weird.
huh?
It's even though,
he
I mean,
said,
even if that were the case, it's still bizarre to me that all of these people had luggage, but there was no luggage that came out. If you saw the Sprinter van as it was on its side, the back doors were wide open. There were no uh there was no debris, no
well, I
luggage
said it was
spread out
staged.
on the ground, and only thing I can come up with is there had to be another vehicle.
That's what I said. So it had to be staged.
It was,
I think it
I
was staged.
believe, yeah, I was about to say, I believe it was another vehicle. And I also believe that if they counted for all the people that was in the van and they gave
Mhm.
all the account of the people, but they never said about the guy that traveled back on the flight. Could that have been Angie traveled back on the flight?
Hmm. Well, Lorraine Munn said, "Did he really fly back?"
This is what I'm saying, because remember
Yeah.
they accounted for all the people. The Sheila accounted for all the people that was in the van.
Mhm.
Nobody said anything. She accounted for everybody, the band members. But they did
So
say one flew. She did say one flew back
one
because
flew
he had
back.
a
He had to
surgery.
have surgery. Yes.
So
Right.
apparently he
But
must was on the van from the beginning.
that one that flew back could have been that was Angie that flew back. And the that's why the on the van, that's why the seatbelt was clicked up like that, because she was never in the van.
That's still kind of, I don't know. I
It's a bunch of
that
scenarios that could have taken
Yeah, it's just
place.
that whole scenario. There's so many questions I have about
Yeah,
that. You know,
suspicion.
an accident of that caliber. Not only was the vehicle flipped, it was also hit by an 18 wheeler, and the condition of that vehicle was just, well, for one thing, had it been flipped on its top, that thing would have been caved in. So we know that it really, I don't even think it was flipped over the way they said it did.
It
Because
never rolled. It
when you,
flipped, but it flipped to the side, but never rolled. Because
right,
had it rolled, it would have been on the top.
right, because I heard
Right.
several times it was flipped several times. It flipped 3 times. Okay,
Yeah, that's what she said.
Tony trying to get my attention. All right, Gummy, let's go, Captain Gummy. We gonna put you up in here too.
Okay, so let me ask you something. So if everybody was in the van and the cousin said everybody was getting off the van, it wasn't that much longer before they flipped and turned or whatever happened before the 18 wheeler hit the van. So how in the heck can 9 or 8 people get out the van that quick after you done been this I mean this all messed up, and you get out the van before the 18 wheeler hit it? That don't even make sense.
Well, and that and a lot of things don't make sense to me about that
Well,
whole
So,
they
so I don't think
accident.
nobody was in the van. I think it was staged. I don't think anybody was ever in the van. They might have been following behind the van, and they might have staged where they was all acting like they was hurt and delusional. But I don't think
Mhm.
anybody was in the van, because if everybody was in the van, you would have never had that opportunity to get out the van that fast before that 18 would have come swirling through that to hit it. That
And
it,
why didn't it hit anybody that had already
yeah,
right?
that don't even make sense. I mean that's
I
logic.
think that's
You
why
thinking.
I think that's why they have so many stories, so you
Yeah,
can't put it
you
together
can't
to
pinpoint. Yeah,
to to solve it. But common sense
yeah.
takes a strong play in all of this. And they are telling the truth inside of their lies. But you have
But
to pick through it to get to the truth. Everybody
well,
has told everything that has told the truth in all of this.
Hmm.
You
You
just
know
have
what?
to pick what the truth is.
You know what?
that's a whole lot of picking.
I,
That's
I, I listened I listened to Tony today, right? And I agree with him. That issue with the van has been going on and going on and going on. Where Tony at right now, and with
It
the
don't
stuff
even
that he's
matter now.
right,
Yeah,
it don't even because we know that whole crash was a whole bunch of crap. You know, it was
Mhm.
set up. How in the world that her cousin gonna be sitting right next to her and don't know what happened? So I agree with Tony. That accident, it'll solve itself out. And just like Tony said, it could have been an unfortunate accident, but
Mm-hmm.
with Shayna Shell, you know, it's about Shayna Shell trying to steal the money now.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
what
this
it's
is
about.
really
We
about.
know the accident. We know because,
Yeah.
like Tony said, it was an unfortunate accident. It might have been some foul play. We don't know. It don't seem right. But where we at now? We talking about Shayna Shell and what she doing, allegedly doing.
Mhm.
That's
Oh well,
that's that's the
she can't get any of the money because all her stuff is fraudulent. And once he takes that to the courts, once he puts authority on that, everything is going to stop. No money is coming nowhere. The insurance companies are not going to pay nothing out because it's a
Oh,
fraudulent
I'm not
act.
talking about the insurance
So
money. I'm talking about other money.
you talking
Shayna
about for
Shell,
What
the
you mean, her
yeah,
royalties and
Shayna
stuff?
Shell ain't got nothing to do with the insurance money. She wasn't in the
Any
accident.
products sold after her demise, any
Yeah, we talking
product
about other money.
you
sold,
talking about the
yeah.
royalties.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah, a
okay.
lot of other
future
stuff.
Yeah.
future products that Angie was
Yeah.
Right.
selling
Cause like
online
the
and
lady
stuff.
said, Juanita, when she was on, she said it right there.
Yeah.
Shayna got all the codes. She changed all the codes in the
She
MI,
changed
whatever
the
the
password.
yeah, she changed everything. So we
Yeah.
know Tony right where he needs to be. And with that
He
video
is.
of allegedly being on Pillsbury in there, that's what it's
Man.
gonna kick off at. You watch it, it's gonna blow up once Tony find that out.
Mm.
Thank you.
Lord have mercy.
Well, I think the case is solved. I think they didn't solve the case already. It's just that I think is a
I
little
don't
bit
think
more to it.
there's more to it than that.
Yes,
Well, we
exactly.
know it. We know that there's something awry about
And
this. We just
exactly.
don't know all the
All
details.
the players.
Now
You
I
know.
Because
like
it's a bunch of players in there.
Mhm.
I like I like what y'all saying. Y'all need to keep on talking because I'm paying close attention to what y'all saying.
Mhm.
Oh, he's on that. Oh, okay.
I
Oh
told you
yeah,
he
yeah,
was.
I'm
You
I
paying
know
told
what?
attention.
Oh,
him
Quiet Storm,
Sergeant
Tony.
Dummy.
Uh-huh.
This is
Sergeant
how
Dummy was
this has
here.
gotten this far because you
Yeah.
listen to what people were saying, and then
Mhm.
you went and asked the questions that you had, plus what everybody else had. So that's how,
Mhm.
and that this is, I think this is why Angie put it out there like that.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know,
Because she felt that somebody was going to come after her.
she knew somebody was
She
coming after. They
she
have
Yeah, she
she
already
said
had
said
it.
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 Yeah,
She
she
said
said
it.
it.
You know.
And
Yep.
the
But
person that was
she.
coming after was already in the house.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
she
she
knew
just
it once
probably
she.
didn't. Yeah, she probably
Yes.
didn't want to put her out at that time because it probably would have brought a lot. I guess she was trying. I guess maybe she thought she was going to get everything resolved
Mhm.
Nope.
before her demise, but I guess
Right.
that didn't happen.
Nope, she didn't want her to get away
Wait, well,
with
yeah,
Right.
because
that's
she
true.
had given up all her information to that woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And she didn't want her to get away. That's why she came to the internet. But the way she came to the internet was like, stay here. We're gonna get these groups together and we're gonna do, and she went for it.
Yeah.
But in
yeah,
going for it, Angie told the public what was going on, and she didn't even
Yes.
understand it.
yeah,
Yeah.
If you looked on and looked at Angie's eyes, the way that she was talking, she was looking at her like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
We all know that look,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
she had to play her cards too,
Right.
so her grandchildren and her kids can get
Mhm.
her royalties and not Shayna.
yeah,
She made sure that somebody else was fighting for her because the people that was around her were not.
yeah.
Protected by God said sleeping with the enemy.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then, the other guy, I don't want to call his name on here, but the one that was she was working with, he had told her that he didn't like Shayna.
Yep.
Juanita told her that she didn't like Shayna. So
Yep.
I think once a lot of people that probably was around her started seeing how that girl was moving,
Yeah.
maybe it started to open up her eyes a little bit more before she came on her live to tell everything that was going on.
Well,
And maybe
wait a
that's
minute.
what she
Wait,
uh-huh.
wait a minute. Not only did they not like her, Diamond
Diamond didn't
didn't
like
like
her.
her.
Well, yeah, that's what
Hmm.
she said. But all of a sudden now she on the
Initially.
bandwagon with her. And that's weird.
But you know why I think what got Angie? I think Shayna remind her a lot of herself. And
Mm.
she did not, she wasn't trying to listen to everybody else because she saw Shayna like her trying to make
Mhm.
it in this industry. And she
Mhm.
was going to help her become somebody big in the industry. You know what I mean?
Well, wait a
All
I
minute.
them
You
think that's
talking about
what it,
backstabbers,
you
Wait a
I
minute.
was
talking
going to
about
take your place.
Shayna?
I
Cause
like
Shayna
that.
ain't got
Wait,
no talent.
wait
well,
a minute.
that's
Wait,
true. But
wait.
she had enough information where she probably can go get
Still,
talent. She
she
could
was
see the
stealing.
talent. Huh?
Yeah.
I think I don't even think she could see the talent. I think that was just an illusion. I don't even think
Mm.
she know what talent is. I don't
Well,
even think she
Now,
really
one thing
knows.
you got you can't take from her.
And
She's
what's that?
savvy. She's pretty savvy. She
she's
just got caught up because every things didn't go the way that she
right.
thought they was gonna go.
Not
But
all the
she's been
T's
playing
and
this game a
I's were
long time.
dotted. Yeah, the T's were not all the
Yeah.
T's were crossed and the I's dotted.
They just didn't expect for Angie to pass. Had
See,
Angie not passed, then they would have got it.
now that
Allegedly,
part, that
al-
Allegedly.
part,
allegedly, we didn't think she was going to pass. We don't know.
Right. That's what I
But
said.
that was
Yeah.
part of the plan.
right.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now
Yep.
y'all check this part out right here. Here's what I believe. I'm gonna drop it like it's hot. I believe
Where's my
that
fire extinguisher? I don't see where my fire
yeah,
extinguisher.
you're gonna need to
Let me
grab
go.
that
I'm going to get
extinguisher.
my fire extinguisher. I'll be right back.
You're gonna need to grab it.
I'm gonna go get it.
Well, let me
Hold
go
on.
get me a glass of ice water.
I don't I don't believe they intended for her to pass away.
No, but I still need you to hold on
I
for just a
think
second.
okay. I'm gonna hold on while you get it.
Okay, I got my Yeti with my water in it. I'm had to put my insides out.
I got mine too, right here. Mhm.
I got mine right here. Oh my
Y'all better
God.
get y'all some popcorn because I'm about to tell y'all something. Y'all better.
Okay.
Y'all better
Okay, well, I'm listening.
get y'all some
Okay.
popcorn.
Here we go.
I'm about to drop it. I'm about to tell it like a TI is.
Do I need to? Am I ready? Are you ready?
Well, if you ain't ready, you better get ready. Cause hold on,
Look.
let me. I'm
I got my fire
oh,
extinguisher. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. We gotta let That's It Queen in too, cause she gotta be in on it too.
Yeah, let it in. Let it in.
Okay. Hey, That's It Queen.
Hey y'all. Come
Hi.
on, Storm. I'm ready to listen.
You ready
Okay.
to listen?
I
Y'all
got my
watch this
fire
right here now.
extinguisher.
Watch
Uh-huh.
this.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. I think that somewhere down the line, someone thought they were going to get insurance money.
Uh-huh.
The only thing is, when they say we're going to be all right, they didn't think that little Einsteins like us content creators would
Mm-hmm.
jump on the bandwagon
Mm-hmm.
and bust it up. That's why they want
Mm-hmm.
to say, y'all leave it alone. Y'all leave it alone. No. We ain't going to leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, y'all got things blocked where Angie Cohen's gonna freeze up. So if we stay out of the way, then it's gonna mess up that process.
Mm-hmm.
If things were gonna be right from the beginning, there would need to hide. There would be no need to hide any money. But because you had a need to keep secret money that you didn't even report, that's why we're here today. See, it was secrecy of hiding money in the first
Mhm.
place that's got us to this conversation before the accident even happened. hiding money have been taking place before. So if we don't talk about what's going on now, then we agree with what happened before, which meant that Angie was talking for nothing. Guess
For
what?
nothing.
She didn't talk to me for nothing. She didn't talk to y'all for nothing. We heard exactly what she had to say. And I don't give a flying rip monkey wonky wookie one what's happening. I'm gonna keep running my mouth until them coins pop up in place. You know what I'm saying? Them coins
Amen.
need to drop, and they need to drop
Amen.
fast. I'm telling you, you need to drop it hotter than they throwing dollars at a stripper pole. You need to let it go and let the money fly. Bam. That's what need to happen right there.
What?
You know,
What? Wouldn't that a drop, a flap, a what? Hoopy hop, a what? Can
you
you can you pull that one out of a hat again, please? Let me write that down. I got to use
they
that.
need to drop that money hotter than they throwing money, dollar bills at a stripper pole.
Now before that, the hoopy hoppy lippy lop thing part.
I don't
That
know.
part.
I got caught up in that. The word.
He
Okay,
don't even
see, huh?
remember.
Well, you know what
Man,
you said.
man, you can't drop them gems and not remember. Oh, I'm gonna have to do a rewind later
I
and
I
write
mean
it down.
I mean look, this girl, I ain't yeah, I did too. I almost say I ain't seen
A
nobody like her
flying
before, but yes, I
funky
have.
something.
Flying monkey.
But she's only getting away with it, the things that she's done, because she had not got caught and she thought it was okay.
No,
But
That's
she
see,
got
right.
this
caught.
time she didn't got caught because
No,
she
no.
made
She
some really bad mistakes.
it, she got caught because we talking about it. Oh, she definitely
Yes, that's
got
what
caught.
I'm saying. It was brought to the forefront. And the mistake, the notary thing, that right there, that's gonna tear her down
Now
because
and
that,
you know
that
what?
was really an illegal move.
But look at God.
Yep.
Mm,
Look at how God do things.
mm,
Yep.
mm,
The devil allowed you to get blessed to get that
And
privilege
close.
to
Hmm.
be able to notarize documents, but you used it against God,
mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
anything used against God
Hmm.
cannot prosper.
That's right.
You see, you should have let this one go and used it for something else. But God brought you out to the forefront. He said, "Little bald head man, I want you to go
Hmm.
look at these documents right here. Little bald head man, I want you to look at the bottom of that. Bald head
I
man,
was
do you see
just finna
what I'm
say
trying to
that.
show you at the bottom of this paper? Bald head man, I told this child to hold still, and she didn't do so. Bald head man, please tell the people who signed these paperwork.
Mm,
Tell them, bald
mm,
head man, Shaina
And you
Shem.
know what? You
mm,
got
And that's
you
exactly
got
what
access
happened.
to that Lexus Nexus, and they don't understand that.
That that is exactly what happened.
Oh,
Storm,
okay.
God put you in position.
that's right.
That's what you
Yes,
call that. God sent
man.
this information for you
Yeah.
and for
They just
you
don't
only.
understand.
And
They
Satan
don't.
tried
He'll
his
use anybody. He'll use
Satan tried
anybody.
his
Well,
hardest
he'll use
to throw a
anybody,
monkey wrench in.
but then God got his angels out here working
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
and
well.
everything. And so they decided to drop this information in Quiet Storm's lap.
Okay.
What happens is Quiet
Wait a minute.
Storm
Hold on.
decide to work on God's side.
Yeah. Let, let me let me
Tony, go
Exactly
ahead.
what that
let,
part two.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
let me
Go
let me
ahead,
address
Tony.
something to the critic. The critic, you can put everything you want about me and my daughter on this platform.
That's right.
You can put it anywhere else you want to because I'm not hiding from nothing. You can have your opinion, but you don't know the facts.
And only God knows your heart.
Only God knows my heart. So,
That's it.
and here's the bottom line. I've done the time, all 5 years. You can say whatever you want about me or what I should or should not do. You don't have the authority to tell me what I should and should not do. If you don't like it, you ain't got to follow. If you don't
Well,
like
Tony,
it,
you
you
don't
ain't.
even have to speak on that
Tony,
anymore
I
because
was
the
gonna say the
actions of
same
what
thing.
your credentials that you're still holding to be able to even do this, you
Hmm.
wouldn't even have them if that God didn't have your back. Because
Hmm.
see, you're not supposed to have those if if you were all wrong. You get what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all something.
Wait a minute, hold on, Mickey. I just want to
Go
say this
ahead.
because
Go ahead.
I want to kill this. Faith, you said the right thing. If it was bad as what people think it is, I would not have the credentials that I have. But you see,
That's
I
my
do
point.
have them,
Yep.
which means you don't know what you're talking about. You're running it with narratives from other people, and you
Yep.
don't know what you're talking about.
And everything is not always as it seems.
Yep.
But they'll find out when my name is off of the list pretty soon. They'll
Hmm.
find out.
Hmm.
But
They'll
My
can
figure it
I
thing
out.
is
say,
this. Let me say one thing before I forget, because I got dimensions. So I was forgetting. If I don't say it, I will forget. Um, and see, I sit up there and forget.
And then
Oh,
forgot it.
what I wanted to say is that, and I hate to address this issue, but since you brought it up, I would I would take the word of someone that may or may not have committed some kind of a crime. And if they're coming to warn me that my house is on fire, you think I'm going to not take their advice simply because of what they did in their past? No, I'm going to turn around and see my house on fire and say, thank you very much, and go. You don't, this is bigger
Yeah,
than the past. This is
that's
bigger
it.
than the past. And there's nothing your past can do to change what is about to happen. But what you can do is change the future in this
Hmm.
industry with the moves that you make on this
That's
case
right.
now.
That's
That's
Amen,
what
it.
this
Here's
is
the
really
here,
about.
You can try to right
Amen.
your wrongs.
and Mickey, here's the other thing.
Mm,
Let's look at righteousness.
mm,
Let's look at grace.
mm.
Exactly.
Jesus appointed the most criminalistic people there was and appointed them as apostles.
Peter, Moses was a bad actor. David, we got a
Paul,
list of
Paul
names.
was a murderer
Yes.
who became one of the greatest
Mm.
apostles, Paul, and orators
Mhm.
of the apostles.
Mhm.
So to say what somebody should not be doing because of their past, we don't have that right. God makes
Mm-mm.
that choice, and
Only
God
God
uses the
can.
worst to make some the best.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's because
Amen.
he knows your
Can I
That's
heart.
it.
say something, please,
Yes.
Yes,
about that
ma'am.
conversation? I didn't like it because you went to him once he found out. You sat there on that panel like a man's supposed to be. You didn't disrespect him, what he had to say, and he should have gave you the right to give your side. That's what I didn't like.
But he
But
did,
it's
and you can't fault paperwork for that. And
No,
this is
you can't.
why. Let me explain. Because he didn't know the story either, and so he was clearing himself from it until he knew the story. Now that
but
he knows the story, what is he doing? He's over there praising Storm for the work that he has done.
we'll
You
see.
understand what I'm
That's why.
saying? So, but
Yes,
you
yes,
can't fault
ma'am.
him for because no, he got that information and he did what he was supposed to do to protect his thing.
And
Once
I agree
he
with
But
that.
I'm talking
once
about a
he got that
man.
information, he did what he was supposed to do because you don't know what it was. He didn't know
But
what it was. So he had
Quiet
to
Storm.
separate himself from that.
But Quiet Storm said we could talk behind the scenes. Is that what you said,
Well,
Mr. Storm?
I did, but you have to be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
but but
But
but he refused to
Let me
listen.
no, but
Well, would you
because
listen to
let
anything that
wait,
Shayna
wait,
has
wait.
to say right now?
You guys,
Listen to that. Would
you
you
guys,
would you
you're
listen to
talking over
anything
each
Shayna
other.
has to say?
We talking over each other, okay?
I'm sorry about that.
That's
Would you
okay.
listen to anything Shayna had to say? Just coming from her, would you listen to anything she had to say? No, you wouldn't, because you know of the nefarious, there's the word, the
Mhm.
nefarious things that she's been doing.
Yeah.
So just coming and she's a rank stranger, you're not going to listen. You're going to get away from her because you figure that this paperwork that you have on her is bad, and this is court documents. This is a court documents. And even though Shayna was charged with, she was arrested for prostitution, was she convicted of it? That's also another thing people have to look at. She was arrested, but was she convicted? And if she wasn't convicted, an arrest record is just something anybody can get arrested.
And here
But
and here's the thing on top of that, Faith. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't cut y'all. Here's the other thing on top of that. People can be charged with one thing, but
mhm,
what you are guilty of or found guilty of may be another thing.
right,
You see what I'm saying? And you have to take that into
it's called a
initial
plea
charge.
deal, a plea bargain.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily a plea bargain, but it's just what you feel. Now, this for me, I did what was best
Yes.
in my situation.
Yes. I understand that.
And at my age,
Mm-hmm.
I did what was right for me. Because if you stand in front of a trial, I mean, in a jury in a trial, and you're wrongly convicted,
Yep.
you could possibly spend the rest of your life in prison. So you got some serious decisions to make at that particular point. A lot of people don't understand. And see, there's a lot of people in prison today
Mm-hmm.
because they they stood on what they believed to the end, but yet at the same time,
It
when it's
didn't work
common
for
sense part, they just didn't go with it.
them. Mm-hmm.
So they end up on the other side to the bad because of it. I will let me say this carefully. I am sorry what happened, but you don't know the story. And I'm gonna tell you this. This situation with Angie Stone is so close,
Oh, please.
so
I'm
close.
sorry. Let me mute. Let me
And
mute.
that's why I could understand how this is going.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
how. That's how I can do it. You have other content creators going in like they know, talking about, oh, he's not supposed to be on the internet. That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if I'm not supposed to be on the net, first of all, you do know that once you get monetized, you have to have your legal name and information. You do know that once you get a business, you gotta, if you doing business the legal way, you use your name. You do know that once you get a 501c3, you have to use your name. I have all of these things. I have nothing to hide. Nothing, period.
Yeah, but the internet don't stop you from getting. I mean, that don't stop you from getting on the internet, because that will stop you from having free speech, and you can't do that. That's against your constitutional right. So you can have
Uh,
be on the
well,
internet.
yes and no. So in that situation, if you are a predator and they deem you to be a predator and you're convicted as a predator,
Mm-hmm.
they will ban you from the internet. That is a fact.
Mm.
It's a case by case situation.
Yeah, but now
And that is
it's
a
too much.
fact because
No,
my
it's too much.
nephew is
Huh?
because I was agreeing with Mr. Storm. I
Yeah,
said that
you
is a
can't be
fact.
on certain apps. You can be on the internet because our business can. I mean, it conducts on the internet. You
Well,
just can't
Well,
be on
they
in the
sites,
state of
different
Hawaii,
sites.
you can't even be on the internet. You can't be on the internet. You can't go to the beaches. You can't go where children are.
Yeah.
You can't do none of that in this state. I can speak for Hawaii. In Hawaii, that's not happening. You're not getting on Facebook. You're not getting on YouTube. None of that.
Well,
It's
see, those are different sites. Some different sites you can't, like Facebook, different sites you can't get on. But the internet itself, you conduct business through the internet, and
well, well, oh,
a lot of things are going
I see
through
what
the.
you're saying. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. The internet at large.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the internet at large. That's correct.
Hmm.
But it's the mediums that use the
You
larger
can't go
mediums that
to.
that you go to. Yeah, you
Right,
can, but you can't on them, and
right.
yeah, you can't do it, and so I have none of those restrictions whatsoever, none. Period. And they need to quit with that because I don't have them,
Hmm.
and I get it don't bother me that they say it. They can say it all day long. It's not gonna change any money in my pocket. It's not gonna hurt me from broadcasting. It ain't gonna do it because they don't
Well,
know
that's
my
just like, it's just like voting, Tony. It depends on what levels you are before they take your right to vote. You know what I mean? And so if you're not, you know, all the way to that level, then they're not going to take certain rights from you.
well,
And that's what people don't understand.
yeah, and I have all of my rights restored.
Well, in order to get that LexisNexis, they don't understand. I don't know if people understand what that is, and
Thank
a lot of people probably don't understand what that is. But in
okay,
order to do that, that in itself alone, you have to have a clearance to get that.
would you please explain that to them, please, ma'am? Because
I
I don't
just
think
did.
anything. Yeah,
You have to have a enforcement uh, clearance to get that, because that's if you only know what you can do with that.
Now, can I interject here, please?
yes.
Mhm.
Can we get back to Angie Stone,
Sure.
Oh yeah, yeah,
please?
but that had
I
I
I
apologize,
know.
Nikki,
No,
and
no, no. I
but
understand. It had to be
that
said.
had yeah, that had to be said, and I want people to understand
Hmm.
just
And Mr.
because
Quiet Storm, you don't ever have to bring that up anymore because it is already taken care of. And
yeah,
that you can let it go. You have been forgiven. So just don't forgive yourself and move on, and don't even speak on it no more. Don't
Yeah.
even explain yourself anymore. Because the more you explain, the more people are trying to make you guilty of whatever, and they don't
Right.
even know what they're trying to make you guilty of.
yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that. But Shana Shell, Shana Shell, Shana
Hmm.
Shell, Shana Shell. Shana, you actually have a chance. You have a chance, And there's four women in this chat with me. You have a chance to present yourself in a righteous manner by getting out of the way.
She's scared because she has done so much wrong, and she has a daughter.
Hmm.
She's probably keep doing wrong on top of wrong, so she won't be separated from her daughter. And that is a thing that drives people into doing wrong. They can't stop, because and then they get in too deep and they're too scared to turn around, because they scared they're going to lose what they love the most.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this, and I didn't want to bring the baby involved at all because she's innocent to
Yep.
everything.
Yeah.
And so it's not fair. Yet I'm going to say this. Think of that. Keep that in your forefront that you need to be around for that. And the way this is going, you're gonna keep allowing me to
Hmm.
dig. Shana, I don't know if you know, I'm a notorious bounty hunter.
Hmm.
I'm notorious from my military career finding people.
Hmm.
It is no secret. That is no secret. From Detroit to New York. Let me tell y'all a true story. I was stationed in Jersey City. This is a true story. And I was working in New York. My assignment was in New York at the AT&T building. There were satellite uplinks on the top of that building. And the office that I was working in was in that building, along with the sat dishes. Our unit was a unit only of 14 people. So that morning, that night, I was at work on duty. And the morning of September 11th, I left out of the AT&T building, went into the World Trade Tower 2 to go downstairs to take the PATH train back to Jersey City at Journal Square. Now, while I'm on the PATH train and we get to Journal Square in Jersey City, the first plane had hit the World Trade Towers. I did not see the first plane hit, but I saw the second plane hit. But I can tell you this. By the time that evening was over, we were dispersed in the community to find certain individuals. Now, a lot of you that are military, you will know exactly what I'm saying. Those of you who are not, just know there was a hunt the night of 9/11 that the public don't know anything about. And that was looking for terrorists in New Jersey and in some other small boroughs of New York. A lot of you talk about 9/11, but you really don't know from a military perspective what happened. And because I lived through that, I can tell you. Going back to Manhattan, to 15th Avenue Southeast, was full of soot around Ground Zero. Now, what does this have to do with Angie Stone? I'm about to tell you. I'm going to tell you where the art of hunting people began for me. So it's funny that the popo sirens are going off. I think. Ooh, that must be the Lord.
Confirmation.
Confirmation. But it's funny. So that night, we were on the ground looking for terrorists, looking for people that you would have never thought had anything to do with those sex. But the government found that they were moving so much money around, and that's how they started picking them off. So now, before you go pushing a fella like me around, you might want to understand where and what I come from and what I was made up of. Those that may be listening, that know me personally on this internet, y'all know exactly what I used to do. And I'm proud of it.
Well, that shows that the work that you do for this Angie Stone case, it played a role, and God knew who to pick. She cried out for help. She cried out for help, and you answered the call.
Yep.
And
Yes, I did, and
that's
gladly,
that's it.
gladly. But see, now I am at another phase. Now I'm at the phase where I got to leave Hawaii and go to 3 different states, and I'm going to tell you, be aware, be aware. I know who you are. Be aware. I know where you are, and be aware. Law enforcement is coming for you. So anybody want to pass any kind of information to try to make anybody come against me, do what you will, do what you may. I'm not moved. I have never let it stop me in the military, and it's worse even now because I have no fear.
You're on assignment,
I'm on
and a
assignment.
different kind of assignment this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's wonderful, Tony. That is what's wonderful. You are listening to your senses and what's going on in your heart to do. And that's how God uses you, and that's how you are redeemed. You don't
That's
have to
right.
worry about what people say.
It- it-
Only God can judge. And
Mm-hmm.
he's doing what he's doing for a reason.
yes.
And you reliving it and just trying to make people know, you don't have to do that. They already see it.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mickey,
can see it. You don't have to talk about it anymore.
yeah,
You
Mickey,
know?
can I show them this little piece of video?
Oh, absolutely.
Let me see where it is. I want to show y'all something.
I told you at home. You
I,
done
I want
forgot.
to I want to show them how and where I got my skills from.
You ready?
Uh, I think so.
Dog.
I think it's got to load a second. Give me a second.
Okay.
Tony, you got to make sure you don't make it about you, because
Oh no,
then it ain't about God anymore.
no,
And
no, no,
then
I,
then
I,
then you will be taking credit for something that God is doing. So you
no,
got to be careful and don't cross that line.
no, no.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, I do understand that.
All right.
I just want to show them my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we see your skill set.
I don't think you've seen all of it though.
Oh yeah.
There's some missing that
I
you
know
may not have
about it.
seen.
If I can get this to, oh, here it is. Okay.
Some people have a talent or a gift in singing or dancing.
Uh
Mm-hmm.
huh.
God gives us all different talents. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? And all different gifts. So
Yeah.
your gift is a gift from God.
Yeah.
So therefore, He's letting it be shown
Yeah.
Mick,
amongst people, the people. You don't have to tell it, because you
yeah.
might be telling too much.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, this is gonna tell just enough. Mickey, go ahead and play that right here. Mm, who that
Yeah,
is
we
right there?
see. We
But me. That's enough. That's
Yeah,
all. That's all I'm gonna show. That's all I need to show.
yeah. So we know about you.
Mm-hmm.
And see,
I
and that's the thing.
I show.
It's not about you. It's what God is using you to do
Right.
with
That's
your
right.
gifts, and talents that He gave you. So don't let it be about you.
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
not. But I want to make this perfectly clear. You have some small content creators that says I'm clout chasing.
You don't have to worry about them, and that's the
Oh, no.
whole thing. Once you start trying to prove yourself to them, you're proving yourself to man. Man
Mm-hmm.
is the evil one. You don't prove
Mm-hmm.
yourself to man. God knows who you are.
You ain't got to keep saying. You
So
don't have
you
to say
ain't
it
got to
no
keep
more.
doing that.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. I'll let it go then.
Because you know what, Tony? There's gonna always be somebody out there that's got to bump their gums, and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do to change that, no matter what you say. But when you do it for God, Ain't
Hey, they can't
nothing. It
touch
ain't
you.
nothing nobody can say, do, whatever,
Mm-mm.
because it's not about man. It's about what
That's right.
His will is.
Is about God. And see, with
Hmm.
all the things that they did to Angie Stone, they didn't do that to Angie Stone. They did that to the God in Angie Stone. And
Right.
that's why God is allowing this to happen, because you
Hmm.
can't do him dirty.
Nope. Nope.
And you know, since you said that, you're absolutely correct. And what he does is God will rally some soldiers together that are committed to do exactly what he designed. I'm one of them soldiers.
Hmm. Yep.
Paperwork, the rest of them.
Well, you know what? And it shows for itself. And you don't have to keep telling nobody. Because
Hmm.
see, when you tell it, then it becomes man's work and not God's work.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Let it come to fool them. Let them see it. For
Hmm.
when it all show comes up,
Hmm.
bing, that ain't nothing but God. All this that's happening, Angie Stone getting on the internet, all
Hmm.
this is the hands of God is all in it, and you can see it. Those who
Hmm.
believe, those
Hmm.
who know who God is, those who
Hmm.
has a relationship can see the hands of God in it. Man, he can see the people that got that they can see the people that God are using to help solve this situation.
Hmm.
No, law enforcement wasn't supposed to touch it, because law enforcement touched it, it wouldn't have never got solved, because
No.
she's just another black woman.
Hmm.
You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yeah.
So he
Boom.
had to disperse all the people that he chose, that
Hmm.
chose him.
Hmm.
Okay, because
Yeah.
it's all about who you serve. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Because they had to serve something too. But they so greed,
Hmm.
evil, and just wrongness to do the wrong part. But they had to do their part in order for God to do His part.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You know.
I appreciate that. I do. I do. Yes. Yes, I appreciate that.
Letha.
So and you have done just showing the public all the information you found out, and one another thing that you've done. And I sat and watched you. You listen. You know, and just didn't take everything that you knew and ran with it. You listened to others and add to whatever you knew in
Hmm.
order to get where you are today.
Hmm. And with that
And
said,
it's uh
with all that said, the more we talk about that, the less we're talking about Angie. And there's one question in the chat that I do want to acknowledge. Letha Robinson Smith would like to know, who is that young woman, Auntie? And I would like you. Which one are you? Are you talking about the one that's talking right now, Letha? If you're referring to the one that's speaking right this moment, that would be Faith. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just an observer.
right.
I'm a child of God, and I see His hands all in it. No matter what, that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I when I was on your live the other night, Auntie Mickey, and all that stuff was going down, I said, this is nothing but the enemy trying to stop
Mm-hmm.
people from getting together. And see, all our minds together
Mm-hmm.
has gotten to this right here. But
Right.
you know the thing that everything happens in according to God's time.
Mm-hmm.
You see this Diddy trial going on?
Yep.
All of
Yep.
this is all together for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Absolutely.
I truly believe that. And Angie was in this industry. She was helping people use their God gifted talent for the good.
Right.
And the industry was taking it
That's
and
true.
using it against
That's
them.
true.
And this is what made the Angie thing just, so real and true, because we saw the God in her, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Mm-hmm.
she probably got blackballed in the industry because
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't going for a lot of the okey doke. She struggled
Right.
through this industry, for
Right.
a reason, because she
Right.
probably wouldn't do what they wanted her to do. She said
Exactly.
no.
Right.
And
So
that's
it
why they made, but she said in her video, it was nothing but the hands of God that allow her to still be able to pay her bills and take care of her
absolutely.
family, because she
Absolutely.
wasn't doing what they wanted her to do.
Right. And we want to keep that same thing going right now with regard to this case. We don't want to
Yes.
falter off. We don't want to
Yep.
spend too much time talking about something that has nothing to do with this case because
Mhm.
basically I, God is in this case. We don't even have to
Mhm.
continue to talk about that. We know he's in it. So with
Mhm.
that said, we're going to stick to the topic. We ain't going to veer off and talk about nobody's past. We don't need to talk about don't have to prove nothing. We done already said what we got to say, and
Mhm.
there's only one way to say it, and it's been said. So we need to move on from this point
Mhm.
because the time is well spent, and there's a lot of information for us to talk about. So, Tony, did you want to say something else, or did you put me on mute? Tony, are you there? He done went to sleep.
No, I didn't. I'm here.
He went to go get some of them nuggets he was eating in our
Oh,
ear last
okay,
night.
okay,
No,
yeah.
wait a minute. Why you talking about? I was gonna go get some, but he on punishment, so he ain't getting no nuggets today.
You know what, Tony?
Hmm?
They Love Me said, Unc, you have over 10,000 people who got your back. And with that said, you've got 10,000 people, but God is on the throne. So
Mm,
let's do this. Let's do
Yeah,
mm.
this.
and you know what? That's another thing. I cannot believe, and you told me yourself, Mickey, do start my page up and do it. You told me. You told me. And I said, no, I don't wanna do that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna listen. And that page, I cannot believe the outpour on that page. Oh my goodness.
It's all
I'm like,
about Angie. That's
That's
why
right.
you doing a good thing for Angie. And that's what this is about.
And you're doing it well.
Yes.
You're doing it well.
Yes, you are. And that itself speaks volume, because
Every
you see how many subscribers, because
yes.
I don't call myself a follower, because I don't follow nobody but God, and you're not
Mhm.
God completely. But but I you're doing the right thing. You
Right.
are trying to get, and this woman, mm, ooh, ooh, I'll cry, y'all. Mm, this woman song about her black brother, her
Yep.
strong black brother. I love you. There is no one
And
above you.
above you.
And look who's fighting for her. Oh,
Our black brothers.
mhm.
oh my
Brothers,
God.
plural, not just
Mm.
one.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Not
So you
just
know this is
one.
Amen.
nothing but the hands of
Amen,
God. This
Auntie.
is
Amen.
love.
That's
Do you
right.
hear? And God is nothing but love. You
That's
understand?
right. That's
Yeah.
And
right.
so this is deep. It goes so deep. That's
It
why
is deep
you cannot allow yourself
to be distracted.
to be distraction, and even allow yourself to take credit for anything,
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's not about you. It's about
Yep.
God and the love that Angie had in her heart, that godly love she had in her heart for her black men, because they have all just about, and you see what's happening in this industry,
Yes.
the greed of the black men, and not putting together the nuclear families back together. They doing other things with their money. They doing buying and buying too much of stuff that they shouldn't be buying, instead of buying something to build ourselves, our community back up where we used to be.
Yeah.
So when you
Right.
do wrong with your money, my grandmother used to say, a fool and his money will soon part.
That's right.
and they bringing them down left and right because they got all that money and they did not do the right thing with that money.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the one that they got up locked up and on trial right now, he got recordings of them all,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
can bring the whole thing down. And that's probably what's about to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's on a all different level. It's but again, Angie Stone song about her black brothers. I love you. There is no one above you.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
Yep. And what they
that's
say, it
God.
takes a village. It
You
takes a
you
village.
know, that song, I'm sure God gave her that to write.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's coming. It is just, oh my goodness. The
Yeah.
words. I can't even get all the words out because it's so much bigger than we can all see.
I agree.
And
Tony, go ahead.
I've been feeling this week the spirit to let it flow and release it on through radio now. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell this story on the radio.
But guess what? You see how God used you to for everybody to know what's going on. He just didn't just pick anybody, he picked a particular person. You
Yeah.
understand? This
Yeah.
is greater. Is greater than we can all imagine. It is deep. I hope this is a lesson for everybody to look at what is going on in this world. They talking about the last days. Now, this is not the last days. Your last day is when it's time for you to go. It's already, it was going to happen. But
Hmm.
just know that the love that God has for us, we can all change and do the right thing and be the right people to each other and love because that is what He's all about.
True. I have a question in the chat.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh, wait, I'm sorry. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you feel that Shana, Angie daughter and son, or do I believe Shana have Angie's daughter and son hostage? No, I don't. This is what I honestly believe. I believe that health has an issue and lack of understanding have an issue. And when bad health and lack of understanding meet, you get confusion.
Right.
You get desperate. Then when you add in lack of hope, it gives a recipe for confusion.
Hmm.
And without proper consultation of the matters of life, liberty, and finance, you will go muck. You see, in order for life, liberty, and finance to meet each other correctly, you have you have to have legal representation. There's a lot of noise going on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's the one under you. The noise is coming from the person under you. Okay.
Hold
So
on.
it stopped now.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. And this is where it's going to get ugly. If the heirs don't decide to do the right thing in the beginning, someone will have to oversee and help them to make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, the way it is, there's many on the outside seeing the inability to make justified decisions now, and it needs to be advocated for them that someone be appointed so that those correct decisions can be made. Because this could all be blown.
Right.
And what do you mean, Tony, by it? It could all be blown. If you don't do the right things, it may take you many, 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 many years, if ever, to collect the royalties that are deserved to you. Because you're going to end up in a political fight. Logistics always prove right or wrong. No in between. It's either all the way to the left or it's all the way to the right. But it does not work well in between. Even God says, hot, I'll have you. Cold, I'll have you. Lukewarm,
Lukewarm.
you make me sick to my belly.
Spit you out.
You spit you out. So, the best consultation that I can do from a common person looking at things is this. Don't try to handle such an estate like this through someone that desires to be a paralegal and through someone that desires to be in the music industry that don't know about the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Tony, let me say this. It's so bad though, because and I understand you're saying everything correctly, but even the lawyers nowadays, you don't know if they have your best interest. And did they see that in their mother's situation?
Okay, so being honest and being true to the cause, no. And the reason is because, you know, she had an attorney, and even he has given
Bad advice.
bad advice.
Now you see exactly where they saw their mother go through that. And then you're asking them to let the law take over. But again,
Here's the
it
thing, though.
is so hard nowadays to find someone in the justice system
But that's
that
why.
is about the right thing and that's trying to do the right thing for them.
But
Everybody got their hands out. So they can't trust anybody.
so here's the thing. I'm a go through a true story with you. When I had the issue and I needed to find an attorney,
Hmm.
there were many attorneys that came to me that wanted $10,000, $20,000 to work a case,
Hmm.
but they made no sense to me. Right?
Hmm.
The one person that made sense to me, you know how much he's told me he wanted?
How much?
$150,000.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I had to say, what is my life worth? Is it worth 10,000? Is it
You
worth
right.
20,000? Or is it worth 150,000? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's worth 150,000.
That's right.
So I paid
That's
the
right. But do they have any
Listen,
money? Do
please let
they
me.
have any money to give
Let
an
him finish,
attorney?
sweetheart. Let him
I'm
finish,
trying to
baby.
get there. I'm
Okay.
trying to get there.
Okay.
So I use that as an example to say that sometime they're going to have to give up a little bit to have the right lawyer
Right.
Yep.
on their
That's
side.
right.
You can't be stingy with that.
You can't be stingy with it. See, they're being
Mm-mm.
stingy by working. They're being stingy by working with Shana because they think that it's gonna be all the money and they don't have to worry about it. But
Mm-hmm.
what they have to worry about is this girl can disappear overnight and she's got all the codes
Mm-hmm.
and run away. We don't know if she has a copy of the death certificate. All you need is a copy of the death certificate. No company is going to pay anything without having a copy of the death certificate to prove that you have authorizations to transpire business for the oh my God, I just said it. The transpire business for the administrator. Michael is the administrator, and she has the authority to do business for Michael, and that's what she got set up.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry. Say that
Right
again.
now, Michael is appointed the administrator,
Right.
and she is appointed by Michael as his representative to speak for him. She
There you
has the
have it.
authority to do everything that Michael can do.
That's what I said about that contract between the two of them.
Yep.
Boom. People don't move like that unless they've been given permission to move legally.
Yep.
Well, the permission started. So there was a sense of trust with when Angie gave her passwords and allowed Shaina Shell to get in the back room to do the things that she's done. But what Angie didn't know is that she would go as far as she did.
Yeah.
I know factually, no guessing. I know factually that Shana, you have access to the MLS. I know factually that you are putting things in there. I know this.
But that goes back to if if they don't have any money to give an attorney, then they don't have somebody to represent them. And all the people that Angie did know, are they coming to them? Now, you can come with ideas, but are they coming with money to help them get a lawyer and do the right thing? Because that's where it all stems. Somebody that's showing them, hey, look, we know what you're going through. Here's the money to get an attorney. We'll help you find an attorney. It might be $100,000, but here's the $100,000 that's going to get you where you need to be. Is there anybody doing that for them? If
Yes,
not, they
actually,
trying to do whatever they can to come up with some money to even try to sustain all of this, because
okay.
they don't have anything. Angie had everything.
So let me say this. And actually, Angie did not have everything.
Didn't have
Well,
much.
I'm saying she had everything as far as taking care of her family. She was the breadwinner.
She
Right.
was
That's what
she
I meant.
And yeah.
she was the breadwinner. But
Hmm.
I'm going to speak the truth here.
Yeah.
Angie passed broke.
Exactly. And that's why I know, and that's why I said they don't have it.
Okay. But please let me paint this picture for you. She didn't have anything. Even the house is not paid for. The mortgage still has to be paid on the house. She had to work, and work. Even with not being able to stand. The last show, she stood more on that show than she have a lot of others because they had to keep a chair for her just so she could rest.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that she was losing breath a lot singing when she had a lot of breath control. So people don't realize this. See, it's a lot of artists that are in the position that Angie Stone was in. and they're having to fight and keep working 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 because the industry have beat them down by them becoming billionaires and the artist becoming a pulpit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's prevalent in shoot, who was that? Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle,
Yes.
Shaka Khan,
Well,
Stephanie Mills going
but
on tour.
but legally I can't call their names because I don't know what they have.
No, but I'm just
No,
saying I'm using that as an example.
but
Of why you work at such a the age you
At the
are.
age
You're
that they
forced out
are,
there.
and to
Mm-hmm.
have those four queens combined,
Yes.
that
Still.
that would attract thousands of people per venue.
Mm-hmm.
it would for
Mm-hmm.
that kind of show, yes. But
Mm-hmm.
that's a smart promoter that does it, that put that show together. That is a smart promoter.
Mhm.
But what we have here is that there were a lot of people that was managers taking money from management and taking money from booking shows, and they did not have a legal leg to stand on. Bookings, you can't book a show and be the manager. You can't do that.
Mhm. Mm.
Someone that books, a booking agent is supposed to book the show, and then the booking agent will forward the contract to you, and the artist will sign the contract, and you provide the writer that the artist need. You know
Mhm.
what instruments that they may need to have provided on the stage, because not all bands travel with a whole bunch of instruments. They just don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
So in a concert writer, they will tell you, I need 2 guitar amps, I need a bass amp, I need this specific name brand keyboard, I need the drum set, microphones, yada 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 yada. They
Right.
outline precept by precept what is supposed to be provided on that stage. That's that's how they have to do. But you see, it looks like to me that all of the managers that Angie had ripped her off because they was getting paid on both levels of the coin. You
Double
can't
But
dipping.
do that.
it's probably not just Angie Stone. It's probably a lot of them, and that's why they're still performing. And Angie Stone is just the catalyst to just take, you know, the covers off of all of it that's been going on.
Ruby Tolson has a question. How many
Okay.
managers did Angie have?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many she had. I don't I haven't even bothered to try and check that out because
Mhm.
really where I am, her main manager was Walter Millsap, and that's where I'm stuck at. The stage manager or the road manager usually is a different person, and the road manager will be the one that act like Ashton, or go out and collect the money,
Uh-huh.
do whatever else. The road manager will go to the venue usually before the artist and check
Hmm.
and make sure that everything is okay.
Right.
And usually, if it's not, before they get on that plane, generally all of the rest of their money have to be in place. But a
Uh-huh.
lot of times, the artist will go to the venue and collect the rest of their money at the venue
Mhm.
before the show, and then they do it. And a lot of artists don't take anything but cash at that point, because if you go to a venue that's not like a Live Nation or whatever, and
Right.
you take a check, that check may not be any good, and now you're gone and you can't even recover that money because you got
Mhm.
a bad check.
Mhm.
Or some places you go, they'll pay you with a card, and then also and then uh 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 uh, file a complaint against the card so that
So they ought
don't
to,
have
so
to
they
pay.
get out of paying it. Yeah.
Right. So cash is the only way to go. And it's
Yeah.
not because they're trying to hide anything, it's to protect you. Look, when you go on the road, you got several people to worry about. You got to worry about your band. You got
Hey,
to
oh,
worry about your hairstylist. You got to worry
mm-hmm.
about. Look, when I go on the road, just me. When I go on the road, I have my K9 because I one's with me at all times. I don't go nowhere without my K9. My K9 flies in the aircraft with me, right beside me. Period. Hands down, no questions asked. That's where it is, right beside me at all times, 24/7. I don't care what plane I'm on. So people have to accommodate for that. And that means I probably would have to fly first class because I got a big K9. And now, my boy, this dude is going to be almost 130 pounds. He's a big boy. So they have to be responsible for that. So you have all those things that have to be taken care of. So, and then those people have to be paid. You know, they want to get paid for their services. They ain't on the road for love.
Mm-mm. And if
Uh,
you got bills, you can't be on the road for love either.
yeah. Now, and somebody, Annette Jones asked, what about cashier's check? Nope.
Yep.
No form of check. No form of check will do. No cashier's check, no money order. No. No.
What do you mean no form of no cashier's check? A lot of them do get take cashier's check because it
Not on
is
the road. Not on the road. No. No, they won't. They won't. If a cashier's check is done, it'll have to be settled with the manager the day before the show. That means you pay them with a cashier's check, they deposit it, they know it's cleared, and that's the only way that'll happen.
mm-hmm.
On the day of the show, no, they will not take a cashier's check
Okay.
because the cashier check can be recalled too.
That is true. Well, what
So
about bank transfers? They don't do that.
a bank transfer on the day of the show is no good because a bank transfer on the norm take 24 to 72 hours.
Tony, I got a quick question for you. In your opinion,
Okay.
how will this all pan out in the future for artists that are cash only when we go to a cashless society? What is your opinion on that?
That's that's $1 million question. I don't know because right now we're a partial cashless society, and so one of the ways of guaranteeing a transfer is just to transfer the money and it
Mm-hmm.
goes in your account. I mean, whether it's
Right.
Bitcoin, whether it's Zelle or
Uh-huh.
whatever. But here's the thing. Let me tell you this. You can't transfer large amounts of money with Zelle
Mm-mm.
or Bitcoin or none of them until
That's right.
you verify your identity.
That's right.
You
That's
have
why I
to,
said the bank, a wireless transfer.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have to verify your identity. If not, you're stuck to doing maybe $100 transactions, and you know they're not gonna worry about that 60,
Mm-hmm.
$100. But I think if it gets over $500,
Yes. There's a limit.
yeah,
It's 600, I believe.
I don't,
Actually, you can petition the bank to raise your
Mm-hmm.
limit
yeah,
in
but
some cases.
if it goes one penny over 500 or 600,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to prove your identity. They're not gonna let that money go until you do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Right.
And
You're absolutely right.
you can't
Mm-hmm.
send them somebody else's ID. That ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
They want yours.
You're absolutely right. I ran
And,
into a similar situation even
mm-hmm.
when it came down to paying for my carpet to be laid or hardwood floors to be
Mm-hmm.
laid, and it was going to be like $1,400 for one room, and I had the money in my account, and they wanted cash, and I'm like, okay, I can just give you my debit card, but my bank says you have to ask for approval for any uh, purchases over, I think in my case it was 900 at the time.
Mhm.
So I had to petition the bank for that, and it took another day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was asking that question. Sometimes even the banks will say no for now. You know what I'm saying? But
That
you can
Over a
petition the bank.
Yeah, and with the banks, you have to have a certain amount of time for them to even um, for you to even get money out of your own account so many
Exactly.
days. And that's
Exactly.
why I said the wireless transfer through the bank. If
Hmm.
if 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 they are doing a performance and it's dated for the 15th, well, by the
Hmm.
12th they can do the transfer with the bank to see if funds will clear. And on the
Hmm.
13th, if those funds, I mean on the 15th, if those funds haven't cleared, then they don't have to perform. And
Hmm.
that's why I said the transfer through the banks, because that's what they're going to. Because like you said, I'm making everything is going to a cashless society, and a
Hmm.
lot of these big purchases, you have to go through the bank and have a transfer through your account.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But when they're on the road, they don't care about any of that. That stuff generally has to be taken care of before they fly,
In
before they leave
advance.
their home, getting on that plane. All of that has to be confirmed that that money is in the bank and everything.
And
Generally,
that's what I said. Three days before they should do that transfer, to let them know the day before that they money is there.
oh well,
That's
I could tell you right now, if it's 3 days before and they haven't gotten their money, you lost your deposit. 9 times out of 10, that artist leaving wherever they're coming from to come
mm-hmm.
to you, unless you got cash when they hit the airport,
Hmm.
that's not gonna happen.
No,
I
you're not understanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is 3 days before the venue, the 3 days before the show, do the wire transfer. By that, the day before, because it usually takes 24 to 48 hours for the cash to, I mean, for the bank to approve that there's funds in that account. Now
Yeah, but
that
a
that
lot of artists, a lot of managers are not going to wait that long. That's too close, and anything could happen at that time. They're not going to wait. They're going to want to have that cleared a week and a half, sometime 2 weeks before the date,
Well,
because
you already got some of the money. They pay you some of the money before the
sis,
event.
I'm gonna tell you what I know factually. A lot of times, artists get on the road without that other half of that money being had before they got on the road, and they'll get on stage in good faith and
It's not
perform.
a good faith thing.
No, no,
That's
but
what you're not understanding. I'm not
no,
saying that.
I understand. I'm telling you what actually happens factually. I've seen it happen too many times. Too many
You're
times.
saying all of it needs to be paid up front before the gig is over. Am I right?
They
Yeah.
not coming unless they get all of their money in advance.
Okay.
Most of them, they're not. They're
You
not gonna
know,
do it.
that makes a lot of sense, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to use Marvin Sapp as an example. I went to a Marvin Sapp concert several years ago, and they actually conducted an offering in the middle of this
Hmm.
concert to raise the rest of his money. And he was not going to come back out on that stage until the rest of that money was raised. And
Well,
he was acting in good faith, just
that's
based on
what
what you
happened with
said.
that's what happened allegedly with Kelly Price. And
Mm,
that was her big dilemma, is
mm,
because she got there and
mhm,
they didn't have her money and she did not go perform because
mhm.
her money wasn't there. But with a wire transfer, that money is going to be there at 9 o'clock that morning. So they know that they got their money. So
So
they
you're
don't have to go,
I see what you're
and
saying. I see what
yeah,
you're
and that's
saying.
what I'm saying.
In advance.
We're talking about the wire, the cashless thing,
Mhm.
storm. This is what's happening nowadays,
Now, yeah.
because the cash is no longer, going to be
Okay,
the thing anymore. So
so
this is the place that they have
uh,
put in
yeah,
place for things to go through.
right. So
And
let me
you're
put
gonna
it this.
have to do it, 3 days before that artist even get there. That's what I'm talking about, not what used to happen. We're
Yeah,
talking about what they're putting in place when the cash goes away.
Mm,
yeah, but I can tell you right now, most artists nowadays are not. not waiting that close to 3 days before. If it gets to 3 days before and that wire has not been there and that manager has not been verified that they got the money and the artist has the money in their hand, not the manager saying that he got the money, the artist having the money in their hand, you're gonna have a
Mhm.
problem. I have an artist coming in this weekend. My birthday is the 13th. So I have some stuff going on. I have the grand opening of my radio station in Hawaii tonight. And I can tell you right now, that artist would not get on a plane until that money was taken care
Mhm.
Right.
All
of.
of
Okay.
it.
We're saying the
All of
same
it.
thing.
All of it. You know,
Mhm.
they're not waiting. They're not waiting till the 3 minutes, the 3 days before, unless it is a company like Live Nation or one of those that have 30,000 people in the stay in the thing before, because they know the money was covered. But
Mhm.
they know that money is cash on hand for them to get, because they know they want cash. They don't want no check
Mhm.
unless the money has 100% been transferred, confirmed in the artist's bank in their hands before they left. And
Mhm.
3 days before is not gonna cut it, because that's not enough time to do that. I If somebody want me to come someplace and they're paying for me to get there,
Mhm.
I'm telling you right now, that week before I go, if I haven't received the honorarium that I'm supposed to have had,
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
getting on a plane, because I may be stuck. And I'm gonna tell
Right.
you, that's
Mm-hmm.
happened a couple of times, and you learn not to go down that route anymore. And when you have band members that you have to pay, those band members
Yes.
don't understand. I'll pay you when we get back home. No, 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 no. They
Mm.
want that money soon as they get off the stage and they hit the
Mm.
back room. They want their paycheck.
Yeah.
They want their paycheck.
Yeah. That's true.
And if they don't get it, you'll be going to the next spot looking for band members. You know, they it's hey, it's a busy, cruel world. Then you don't just have the band members, you have the promotions group that's selling stuff. Depending on what your agreement is if it's a contingency where they provide all the material and you're using the likeness of the artist's name, and the artist gets a percentage of what is sold. The artist is going to have one of his people standing there watching them to see what they sold, so they didn't know how much exactly they're supposed to get.
Wow.
Because this is a cruel industry, and it's a cruel game. You know,
Yeah.
you set up concerts yourself, and you go at a venue, you book the venue out, right?
Yeah.
And the venue has a bar. Well, here's a couple of ways how that's going to go. You pay the buyout rate for the venue. Then at the venue they tell you, well, no, we keeping the bar 100%. So now you don't make any money off the bar. You got to
Mm-hmm.
sell everything that you did, from tickets and
Mm-hmm.
product that you sell. And even then, they may tell you,
Amen.
well, we want a commission off of the products being sold, 10 to
Yep.
15%
Yep.
on
Yep.
top of that, that you got to pay. Then on top of that, you
Ooh.
got the tax collector that's collecting them the taxes that you owe for that state and that venue that you was at.
Yep.
Hey, so that's another reason. That's another reason why you have
Mm.
to have your money in advance, because if you if you're a person like Angie Stone, you don't have that extra money in your pocket to pay.
Mm.
So you got to make sure that they got it.
Right.
Greed has taken over this place. Oh
It
Lord.
has.
Well,
It
it's
has.
not, and it's not really greed. It's if you want to be entertained, you got to pay to be entertained.
That's true.
Yeah.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay to go see the show. So the
Mhm.
artists know that everybody's gonna pay to come in to see him. So the artist saying, "Hey, I ain't performing until you give me my money, right?" It's not cruel. It's just
No,
business.
It's
it's
business.
business. It's
Yep.
just business. Yeah. And would it being a cashless society, it's gonna be hard for a lot of people to maneuver because they're so used to paying in cash, you
Mhm.
know. and it's just going to make it difficult,
Well,
like for the band members to get paid. If she don't, if you don't have cash, what you going to do? Cash app one of your band members? You're going to have to,
uh,
pay
you
different people. It's
you you
just,
be you'd be surprised how often that's done now.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
You'd be surprised how many band members are getting paid by Cash App, Zelle,
Yeah.
Apple Pay. I can tell you right now. I seen somebody said Cash App you can only do $999. That's not true. I've gotten some high limit Cash App,
Hmm.
and I also have high limit PayPal's. So
That's if you're doing business, not a
yeah,
personal.
right. That's because
The
there's
tax code.
right, right, and for the record, Cash App does have a business account as well
Hmm.
as PayPal. They have a business account because I have a business card for both
Hmm.
of them. So they do a lot. But here's the thing: those taxes, they checking on it, and they are verifying who you are, and they're verifying your company,
Yep.
and all of your paperwork has to be in check. And they don't even ask you for it. They ask you for the information, and they go and check it. And if a dot is out of place, they're not gonna clear you.
Hmm.
They're not gonna clear you at all.
Wow.
And so this is how it is. And speaking of a cashless society, you know, um, a cashless society really could have benefited Angie Stone because she could have taken advantage of Bitcoin and let some of that money work for her.
Right.
But to my knowledge, none of that has been done.
Hmm.
And of course, there's nothing there anyway. The other side of that coin is in the court paperwork for the administrator, there was property put on there that Angie didn't even own. So
Yeah.
that number is wrong. So I can pretty much, I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to sound like one,
Mm-hmm.
but in my layman's term, I can pretty much guarantee you that that administrator will be overturned
Mm-hmm.
without doubt. It'll be overturned.
Yeah.
And
They
here,
doing too many things under the table, and that's why.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, they doing too many things under the table
And then you have to ask yourself why.
because her
What is?
money was going through the courts, and when she went through that bankruptcy, she
Yes.
she has to be accounted for everything,
Yes.
That's right.
and
A
they
trustee.
were trying to go underneath,
So they wouldn't
behind
have
it.
to pay those things.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, because she was barely, like Tony said, she was barely making it,
Right. And
and
that's
that's
where a
and
lot of people
yeah,
don't understand why they
yep,
were moving the way they were moving, is
yep.
that they were trying to sidestep
And when
putting
you
money into the
do
estate.
that, you leave room for all kind of stuff to happen. Just do it the legal way and
Hmm.
try to get. And this is the conversation we were talking about the system a couple weeks
Hmm.
ago, Aunt Miki. Once
Yes.
you get caught up in that, it's hard to get out. Just
Can't
try
get
to
out.
do things the legal way, and
Yes.
it'll work in your good if it's
Uh-huh.
meant for you to have it.
Right.
and
Because
that and that's the
it's the
thing with
seed.
Diamond, and goes back to what I was saying. If there was somebody in that industry that could have went to Diamond them and said, here, we understand what you're going through, you can trust these lawyers, they're
Hmm.
going to help you out because they see what's going on, and here's the 100, or just give it to the lawyer, not
Right.
put it in their hands, just give it to the lawyer, so that they knew that they could trust somebody. Because
Yeah.
at this point, everybody has been just using and abusing. Even Michael said it at the funeral. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
they've been using and abusing Angie for this long. And if Angie couldn't trust them, how can her kids trust anybody?
Hmm.
Oh, that's correct. Now, somebody mentioned Dr. Rosie Clark Ministries mentioned Shirley Caesar. Now, I can personally tell you about Shirley Caesar because I booked Shirley Caesar more than one time. And Shirley don't play about her money.
No, she don't.
When Shirley, I think she had a gentleman by the name of Charles. Charles will come out and make sure you had Shirley Caesar's money.
Mm-hmm.
The Canton Spirituals didn't play about their money. The Williams brothers didn't play about their money.
Mm-mm.
TD Jakes didn't play about their money.
Mm-mm.
Do you know the honorarium that TD Jakes had? You had to have that money when he got to the church.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't speaking, he wasn't preaching, he wasn't doing nothing. And you came to preach the gospel. But if
Right.
they didn't have that money, wasn't gonna be no gospel preached by them.
Mm-mm.
No.
And that's
No.
sad. You know what? That in itself, when you speak it, it sounds very sad, because to be in that position, you are doing a service for God. But this is how corrupt the system is turned into. It's turned into a money-making machine.
Mm-hmm.
And that has become first and foremost. If you dedicate yourself, I'm sorry, I'm eating. If you dedicate yourself to your calling, if you accept your calling from God and you go into it wholeheartedly, your flesh is saying, yeah, you got to pay me. But your spirit is being paid by God. God will provide. I know
Mm-hmm.
this might sound crazy to your average individual,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
but any blessing from God is 10 times better than anything man can do for you.
I can tell
So
you, yeah, you're
when you
absolutely.
go into that type of contract, it when you get into the uh, services of pastors in the church, I can speak from experience because my husband's a pastor. And too many pastors these days, and I'm not bashing anybody. Let me just make that perfectly clear. These pastors have made it they've made it a career move.
Mm-hmm.
And the preaching of the gospel is not a career move. When you make it a career move, you make it this is my job instead of your calling. There's a difference between a calling and
Mm-hmm.
your job. And I'm not trying to brag or boast about my husband, but I come from a time where the pastors in my day had jobs. They pastored as well, but they had jobs. They got out and they worked every day, because the Bible says if a man don't work,
You don't eat.
a man don't eat. And that is what God put on Adam when he sinned against God. That was his punishment. You're gonna work for the rest of your life just to survive. But you still gotta serve God regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta work. But now society has turned this into, oh, we gonna mesh the two together. We gonna roll it up into one big ball. And guess what ends up weighing the ball down? It's the money. Here's the word right here. The word is higher than the money, but the money takes precedence over the word. Anytime you walk away from your calling, be it an engagement, be it a convocation, be it a Bible study, and you decide that you're not going to do what God told you to do because they don't have your money, then that's you blasphemed God.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely correct, Mickey. But
Point blank, period.
point blank, period. But you know,
It is what it
we
is.
we got to be completely honest. You know,
Mm-hmm.
them in the church have made the gospel a financial institution also.
Absolutely.
I mean, I could tell you right now, just a couple of months ago, the artist Tone, I was wanting to bring him to Hawaii, and he wanted $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tone has a new name now. He's not even singing under the name of Tone.
Mm-hmm.
He's performing under the name B Slade now, which is an R&B artist, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, nobody in the R&B world know who he is.
No, but
You're
we
not
do.
you're- the gospel do. So
Mm-hmm.
But is he worth $50,000? 50. I can tell you plenty of R&B artists that don't get $50,000 when they go on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Leandra Johnson, $60,000.
Mm. Wow.
Fred Hammond, $300,000 to $500,000.
Kirk Franklin.
$1,000,000.
Yeah, because he got a lot of people to pay.
You know, and so
Entourage.
so 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 here you get them only you get them only doing mainly live nation shows
Mm-hmm.
because it's a business, or see them on TV, and
Mm-hmm.
you hardly ever get to see them perform live because there has to be an arena full of at least 20 to 50,000 people in order
Absolutely.
to make it count. Well,
Absolutely.
whatever happened to the plain gospel?
Thank you.
Whatever happened to plainly just loving what you do
Love
and
what you do and
reverencing
love the
God?
fact that God called you to do it.
Exactly.
Because they've gotten in a business that pimped them, and so they have learned how to try to pimp others to get
Protected
their
by
money.
God said Jesus
Well,
helped the body of Christ. That we are living in them times.
yep,
And you know, it's not even that. It's just that the gospel industry is just as ruthless
yep.
as the
It's more ruthless.
I well,
You
yeah,
don't expect them to be like that because of who they say
Exactly.
they serve.
It's
Yeah.
more ruthless
yeah.
because they
Hmm.
hide behind the
Yep.
biblical part
Yes.
of it.
Let's
They're
look
Yes.
hiding behind a facade.
let's
At
look
Yes.
least at least R&B, uh, secular music, they come right out and they just sing, I'm singing the world's music.
Mm-hmm.
But
point
when you
point
come in
blank.
the name of God and
Mm-hmm.
behave like the world,
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
the gospel artists coming to the show drunk,
uh-huh,
singing drunk,
hmm,
singing
You know.
smelling like weed. You know how many times I've seen this? I don't, I, I don't even
Be-
book a gospel artist no more. It's
that's
not
be,
even it's not
that's
even
because
worth it.
Tony, they don't understand it like we understood it. They just see it as a business, and they
a
just using
business.
their talent to sing this
Hmm.
church song and
Yeah,
not to sing it for the spirit of God. They're just
right.
singing it to make money off of just
Hmm.
what the church has shown them. What you go to church, you get robbed. You know, like Auntie said, you know, Thessalonians said, a man don't work, he don't eat. They have
Right.
taken the the church as a business
Hmm.
and not the house of God. And what has happened is that 501c3 where they wasn't supposed to be paying taxes, well, see, the government understands it now. Now they in trouble.
Hmm. Now,
Now they're in trouble. And
Hmm.
that's
now,
why they're doing what they're doing. It's all been exposed.
Well, see, that's why they say the church name, and then they say, I use for example, not talking about. I'm just using this for a name. Well, no, I'll make up a name. I won't even say the name. Uh, let's say you have Bobo's church ministry. Bobo is the
hmm,
pastor, right? But then
hmm,
you have Bobo Ministries, not Bobo's church, Bobo's ministry. Now, Bobo's ministries is Bobo being paid in his individual capacity, and
hmm,
Hmm.
Bobo has to pay taxes on the money that Bobo get. I don't care if he is a preacher; he
that's
got
right.
taxes on the money. He is not tax exempt. The,
That's
the,
right.
the organization is tax exempt,
That's
but
Hmm.
right.
Bobo ain't tax exempt.
That's
Bobo
right.
gets a check from the organization. And when the organization pay Bobo, get you an accountant and take out your taxes, baby, because you got to pay them. If you don't pay, you're going to be sitting in jail like some of them other preachers that ain't never
Hmm.
paid no taxes because they thought that they was exempted. No,
That's right.
you are not exempted.
That is
Period.
why I am so glad my husband always kept a job. It kept him humble and it kept him focused. And we've seen so many pastors here and far that do this for a living instead of a calling. And when you
Mhm.
do it for a living, that's how you're going to treat it. Oh, time's up, got to go.
Yep.
And then they go live a whole separate life
Yep.
outside of their job.
And you
I,
got to
I,
come
I, I
to.
clock into the office at 8 a.m. Tuesday through Friday. Uh, I know of a church up here that don't do funerals in the
Oh,
church on Saturdays.
oh, oh. Auntie Mickey, we on the
Wow.
same. We right here together. They won't
Okay.
go. They won't go to the hospital and pray for you.
Thank
Ah,
you. Thank you. Listen here. Okay, so now we gonna open up this can of worms because I don't care. I'm not gonna name my church, but for those that know me up here, they know exactly who I am and they know exactly who my husband is. And he is not the senior pastor. Okay, he gets a small salary. He visits the sick more than someone else does. He does communion on Sundays outside of the church more than someone else does. See, my husband don't get no expense account. He don't have no 5013C to fall back on. And whatever we bring into this house is what we work to get together. We work together and we pay our taxes together. But other people have the luxury of being voted in every year to remain there for another year and receive an expense account, housing allowance, and a salary, and a set time to be at church, a set time to do certain things on specific days. But when it comes down to ministry, true ministry, visiting the sick, serving communion, performing funerals, performing weddings, they're not there. They pass that on to the peon, my husband, the
And
peon.
and
He ain't
that
no
is
peon to me and the
yeah,
rest of us. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
The people appreciate him more because he's doing the will of God, not the will of man. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, well, I know where
I
you
done
come
said too
from.
much.
I know where you come from there because like I said, I'm a PK, and at least I can say my dad and my mom didn't take a paycheck from the church. Period. And my dad built the church. He built the church. He built the school. My family, we owned the first private black school in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My family did.
Mhm.
And if anybody's from Myrtle Beach on here, they know then the boy, what's the, oh God, the, they start with a last name start with a B. It was another family on the same street as our church. They had a daycare, but then they eventually opened up a school,
Mhm.
and so now there is another school. Um, you know that's that's what it is, and
Yep.
see so inside we telling you all of this because this is how cruel the entertainment business is.
Entertainment.
Church
Yes.
now is considered an entertainment business. It's not
Entertainment.
changing. It's not considered the church anymore. It's an entertainment business. Look, you got people on the stage doing praise and worship in the church like it's a concert,
Yep.
holding their crotch and everything. I can't stand to go to a church and see a woman singing, holding her crotch in a church. What do you what's
Oh,
up
let
with
me
that?
go deeper than that. Let's talk about the auxiliaries.
Oh, don't even go there.
Any reason to raise some money? We gonna have a tea.
Yeah, yeah.
We need everybody that was born in the month of September to give $250 in the name of Jesus. And we
Lock
don't know
the
where that
door.
money going.
Lock the door.
Wait a
Shut
minute.
the
Hold,
door.
hold on. I want to read what Rudy says. The word of God says, touch not my anointed ones, do my prophets no harm. We were
Mhm.
taught back in the day, keep your mouth shut off these preachers. That was back in the day.
That was back
Not-
in the day when they were really preaching and pastoring.
yeah. But today, that phrase is a phrase of ignorance because we need to be telling on these snakes in the pulpit. We need to be telling on them. And listen, watch this. I'm gonna go down the line. Watch this. Did you know Tyler Perry was ordained as a minister
When?
at TBN? All you gotta do is look it up. Steve
Was
Harvey.
that when he gave that $1 million check?
No. Much earlier than that.
Earlier, okay.
Steve Harvey ordained, gave his trial term sermon at TBN on TV. Kanye West at Joel Osteen's church. Then backed
Wow.
by Noel Jones at his church.
Mm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Glenn
That is
R.
the fall of our community.
Yes.
That is the fall of our community.
Yes.
Watch this. Watch this. I got one more. Glenn R. Plummer, owner of the CTN, Christian Television Network, whose son, Lemuel Plummer, who is the owner of Zeus Network.
Oh, boy.
Now you leave the gospel to go to something as despicable as Zeus.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
And then Church of God in Christ
Oh, my
go
God.
and ordain Denzel Washington.
It's
Now,
so deep.
I think a true story is going to come out about that.
Yeah.
I think sooner or later the truth is going to come out about that. There's something to it. There's something to that. I hadn't figured out what it is yet, but I'm waiting on it.
It's all coming.
I'm patiently
Yeah.
waiting on it.
Yeah, he's gonna rip the veil
All of it is
open.
being exposed
He's gonna
because see you
expose it all.
you cannot do what they're doing to God's people and God's work. You
Right.
cannot make the devil's work God's work.
That's
You understand
right.
what I'm saying? Not use his name and call it God's work.
You
That's
know,
That's
correct.
it's
what
a
I was trying to say.
shame. It's
And
a
Now,
that
shame.
is exactly what people are doing nowadays. And that's why things are being exposed the way it is. And go back to Angie Stone. She was
Exactly.
not involved in it, and that's why she was blackballed.
no,
And you
that's not
know,
true. Angie, wait a minute. Wait. Angie was. Angie was part of the political process of the church
Yes.
at New Birth. Jamal
When I say
Bryant.
when I say she wasn't involved, she didn't have the heart to do the wrong in it.
Oh, correct.
oh,
That's
okay.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's a shame when you've got a church full of people that are either on food stamps, Section 8, struggling, catching the bus to work, looking for jobs, and then you've got someone that's basically telling them, "Gimme, gimme, gimme, gimme," and then
Pay
they
your
you
tithes.
you walk outside, you see them getting
Mm-hmm.
their brand new Lexus, their
Mm-hmm.
brand new
Mm-hmm.
Cadillac. They got a airplane in
Mm,
some cases,
mm,
Creflo Dollar allegedly. Um, it's a shame because these are the people that keep the
mm-hmm.
church going.
Now
It's
there's a
not the
secret.
pastor.
There's a secret to Creflo Dollar. You do
Why?
know you
His name is Michael Smith. And then he
oh
got up there and said that he was been teaching tithing wrong because he learned it the wrong way, and so he apologized, but he didn't give the money back.
well, he came up from under Kenneth Copeland. He graduated from Oral Roberts University, and
Yeah.
he's on Oral Roberts University's uh board. Well, at least he used to be. I'm not
The
sure
$8
about right.
million man that
Yeah,
said God's going to take my life if I don't raise $8 million.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
he wanted the jet to go lay hands on people, right? Is that where he got it from? They all are being exposed because of the dirty deeds they have done in the name of God. You
yeah,
don't play with God like that. You don't play with people's lives like that.
No.
You don't
And
lead people astray in the way that they have. And this is
mm-mm.
what's wrong with this society. You don't know good from bad because
Bad
of
is
what it
good,
has
good is bad.
taught you. Yeah,
Yes.
because of what is taught you. Come as you are. It don't mean
Yes.
come looking in your horse clothes. It means
Right.
come as you are broken and he will fix you. Not come
Exactly.
in tight clothes and seduce the pastor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And for
They're
those young
all teaching
ladies,
it the wrong way and
right. And
leading
those young
people
ladies,
astray.
those young
Huh?
ladies that are coming to church in that condition, what happened to them mothers of the church that would kindly take them to the side and say,
Because
look,
the
baby,
mothers are dressing like it now.
hmm,
Oh
That's
yeah.
what's going. They have
hmm,
taken everything, but it started in the pulpit with the preachers teaching. So they're just doing what they were taught to do. The preachers are the one that started all this mess in the first place and using God as the shield, and so people
justification.
start doing it.
Yep.
You
Hmm.
know, and now it's just completely,
Out of
it's
hand.
out of hand. You
and,
can't
and,
trust
and
anybody.
accepted. It's
Yeah,
accepted. It's
yeah. You.
accepted as the norm.
Woo,
It's accepted as the norm.
mm,
A-okay, everything is cool. Just make it to church on Sunday. Make sure you pay your tithes
pay your
and a
tithe.
free
Pay your
will
ten
offering
percent.
on your way out. Oh, don't forget, we have an ATM in the vestibule.
Mm,
Please, no checks, please. No checks. But we do have an ATM in the vestibule. As a matter of
Do you,
fact, we have an app you can pay on your phone.
ain't that
oh yeah.
something?
Oh yeah. And see now they don't put hold your envelope up no more. They said hold your phone
Nope.
up.
Yeah.
You
Hold your
you
phone
know
up. But
you know what
let me
expo.
say this.
Okay,
Let me say this. Do you know that every pastor that came or that was associated with Kenneth Copeland has a private jet?
Mhm.
I'm a
Krishan
hustler, baby.
Krishan Rock's pastor has a private jet. Mike and Dee Dee. Creflo has a private jet. Leroy Thompson had a private jet. Mike Murdoch has a private jet. Joyce Myers has a private jet. Every single one of them, every single one of them have private jets.
This is
Now,
deep.
now I can also tell you that they have their own little fraternity.
Mhm.
We gonna. No, they're not Masons. I can't say they Masons. I don't
Some
know.
are. Some are.
Not from that crew.
No, but there's pastors out there that are
No, I know that
Masons.
I know the pastors that are. I'm
Mhm.
not saying they're not, but I'm saying out of the crew that I'm calling.
Mhm.
the-
Mhm.
yeah, and no, Bishop Blake does not have a private jet. Bishop Blake is Kojic, and there is no
Right.
Kojic bishop that has a jet. Kojic Church of God in Christ people ain't even up on that financial level. I'm gonna
No.
just I'm a Chucky Ellis. Well, I call him Chucky because I know him. Bishop Ellis out of Detroit would probably be.
They all fall under the same thing, though. Don't just. I mean,
What do you
don't
mean they
leave.
all?
Don't
What
say
do you
one
mean?
is better than the other because they all doing the same thing.
Oh, I never said anybody was better than nobody.
Okay. I mean, what I'm saying is they all doing the same thing. So none of them is different. They just haven't
They
understood
have
how to
different
make
ways
that
of going
money.
about. They have different ways of moving.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
and truly, that is truly why you have to have a relationship with God and not the church. That's the
Mhm.
whole thing. And
Mhm.
a lot of people, because I did, I
Mhm.
understood who God was through the church. But
Mhm.
Mhm.
once God showed me who he was, that church was gone. Why?
Mhm.
Because he took the the blinders off of me
Mhm.
so I could see what was going
Mhm.
on because he showed me his spirit. And you can once God show you who he is, you can't unsee it.
Mhm.
Everybody hasn't gotten there yet, but they will when the blinders come off.
Mhm.
And COVID was the big reveal of it all
Yes.
because
Yes.
you couldn't go to church, but why they still asking for tithes?
Oh,
Oh,
but
because that's
you know
because
why those
God
statutes was
requires you to
passed.
pay tithes, and
Listen,
But
it's none of our business what they do with it.
you're not going to the church though. They
I
said when
know
you come to the church, you pay your tithes.
we ain't
You
supposed to
pay
be
where you eat.
concerned about that. We ain't supposed to
Hmm.
be concerned about that. We
here
just supposed to
here's
follow.
here's a
But did
here's
you
a
see
challenge.
where I'm sorry, Storm, let me say this real quick. But did you see where some of them they were outside in the parking lots still trying to have church so they can collect the money?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
yeah, yeah. My church did that.
They was in the cars. They was in the cars while the preacher was out there in the lot preaching, and they was going and collecting the. Now you know that that wasn't right. Come on now. And then said that that these people were going crazy because they couldn't serve God. They wasn't serving God. It sounded like you were serving man. You can serve God in the privacy of your own home.
Hmm.
The church
Now,
is within us.
now here here
It's not the
here
building.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you are a valid if if you are an active tithe payer at your church, ask your church for a standing balance of its
Mhm.
bank account, and not the general account. Ask them ask them for a combination of all the accounts that they have.
Ah, yeah, right. You telling jokes.
They ain't
You
gonna
gonna get
show you that.
you
That's church business.
no, but guess what? If they
They
are
supposed to show it
if
to you.
if they 501c3, they
They
have to
supposed
show
to
it.
show it.
They can, and if they do not show, if you ask for it and they tell you that you don't have privy to that, you report them
Hmm.
because they have to show it. They
But
will
you know
lose.
what?
They will lose their 501c3. You
But you
can't
know
do that.
what? A lot of us ain't gonna do that.
Nope.
A lot of us ain't gonna go to the trouble.
Not
Only a
only go through
select
the trouble,
few.
they think they're going against the church. They think they're going
Right.
against God
Right.
Right.
because they got
Right.
them brainwashed.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, the church has bills.
Hmm.
It does have bills, but when they're righteously paying the bills, and then with the excess that they have, taking care of the people in the church that are not able to take care of themselves.
Thank you.
You,
Whatever happened to paying, helping the widows?
exactly, the widower, the church mother. You,
Yep.
you know, you know, those are the things that the church should do. You have a tithe payer that has been paying tithes faithfully to your church for 30 years, and all of a sudden they get eviction papers, and you tell them we're gonna pray for you. Don't pray
Uh-huh.
for me. Tell
They
me
don't
how
even
much
answer
money
the
you
phone.
gonna give me back out of that tithe money I done gave you to help me pay
Amen.
get out of this emergency that I'm having. You know, see, that's the kind of stuff we got to
Let
look
me
at.
tell
The
you. Let me
pastor,
let me
the
give you a
pastor
little. Let me
what
give you a
I,
little
I just want to say
scenario.
this right here, and I'm gonna shut up. The
Uh-huh.
pastor want to drive around in the Mercedes, Bentley,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Cadillac, all that right there. And I'm gonna shut up. The 10 second drop on you. Do you know the average pastor that driving them cars, that car ain't in the pastor's name. It is in one of the church mother's name that is on the board, or one of the board members that
Or the
co-sign for
trustee.
that car, or the trustees that co-sign for them to get the car, or just paying the car off in the church name so that they can have it
Is in the church's name.
in
Or
the
Is in
how
church's
the
about
name
church's
how about
name.
not
and the
Oh,
staying
house
in the
too.
parsonage? How about not staying in the parsonage which they already own because the pastor doesn't want to live in the parsonage. He wants to purchase his own home.
uh,
So he takes a stipend considered to be housing allowance in lieu of the parsonage, purchase
Mhm.
a home, and pay that mortgage with that money.
Exactly. Exactly. And then got the audacity to take 2 and 3 offerings.
Oh, let me tell you about this is what I wanted. I had to share this with y'all. This is where I had it. I had a pastor, he is long gone, who walked up to my sister during service, during the offering, and handed her a bill, a church bill. I think it was the light bill. And he had said, Sister Marty, you going to pay this. My sister looked at that bill. She reached in her purse and pulled out another bill and stuck it with that light bill and handed it back to the pastor and says, "Not until you pay mine.
There you go, right there.
I know that's right.
That's right.
Not till you pay mine.
You know,
And mine is smaller than yours."
it was a lot of the churches back in the day. They used to have pledges, and you
Hmm.
pledge to burn the mortgage, and you pledge to give so much money to the pledge so they can burn their mortgage.
Hmm.
Well, I remember as a kid, this lady, she was getting dropped off, and she didn't want the one of the deacons to go help her in. He said, "Mother, it looks so dark up there. Let me walk you." "No, that's all right, baby. That's all right." And he said, "Nah, mother, I can't let you do that." So
Hmm.
he walked her on up, and he said, "Turn on the light. So I know you in there good." She went to flick on the lights and says, "Oh wow. I guess they didn't turn off the lights." And he said, "Well, didn't you just pay your pledge? You didn't pay your light bill?" And she said, "Oh." And he said, "Oh my goodness." He said, "Mother, you paid the pledge and didn't pay your light bill.
Mm.
I have to go and get some help, ask the church for some help to get the
Hmm.
light bill on." They asked the woman to give her light bill so she can pay so they can
Hmm.
pay it for her. Come to find out, the woman's lights had been off for a couple months,
Mm, mm,
but she
mm.
was paying the pledge for the church.
But and that's sad too. But one thing I will say in defense of many, there's many churches out there. I'm not saying all churches are like
Yeah.
that, but we got some churches out there that are genuinely helping people
Yes,
that are in need in the church.
that is
But
true.
some of these, some of these churches just don't care. Just it's about gimme, 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 gimme. You got more people going hungry in the church than out of the church in
Mm-hmm.
some cases, and that's where we've fallen short.
That's where we all fall
Yeah.
short, because the love for the community, for the people, starts
Hmm.
with the people. And if you
Hmm.
can't help your people, then what's the purpose of even being there?
Exactly.
You got five churches in a 3 block radius,
Hmm.
but the community is all bad, and then you got liquor stores on each corner.
Hmm.
And it's just sad. And this is our communities where we see it at.
Right.
And it just doesn't make sense that we as people are blinded by all of this because of the so-called church, because they use the church to 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 trick us out of the things that we should
Hmm.
have in this life.
Yeah.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know and
Hey.
that's the sad part. And not only the trick us out of our talents,
Hmm.
because having a voice like Whitney Houston, like Angie Stone, like Michael Jackson, Prince, all these people that I just spoke about, all of them had relationships with the church or religion. So why were they able to just get sucked in by that industry like that?
Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know, but Mickey, I have got to go because it's time for.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've had enough too, because I done worked myself up and I need to chill. Um, I thank you for coming. Oh, he already left. Look at
Yeah.
that. I want to thank
Well,
all of
Auntie
you
Mickey,
guys.
thank you for letting me be up on your panel.
Thank
I
you,
got in. I don't know
sweetheart.
how I got in tonight, but I thank you. It must have been something I needed to say, but I was
Absolutely.
able to get up on the panel.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you
for
guys
and the
so
people, if
much.
when for the people in your audience, excuse me, I'm not trying to take over the panel. For some reason, this my phone is low. I don't know why, but sometime I didn't hear Quiet Storm talking,
Uh-huh.
and I wasn't trying to cut him off or being rude or anything like that. That's not who I am. I have a really good heart, and I'm not a bad person. So I don't give off negative vibes. I'm all positive.
Amen. I love you, sweetie.
Well, I love you too, Auntie
I
Mickey.
love you too. I enjoyed our discussion tonight. I know we kind of got off topic, but it was meant to be said. It was definitely meant to be
Yes, most
said.
definitely.
So, again, I'm going to go ahead and it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes. So clearly we was talking about something worthwhile, huh? But again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. Thank everyone that gave super chat, super sticker, all of you that joined the membership. Um, and I would really hope that you could take me up on my question or my asking if you could kindly drop a message or two in my email with suggestions as to what you would like to see as members of this channel. Because if you're going to be a member and pay a monthly fee, you should get something extra out of this. So again, I just want to thank all of you for coming. And I'm fairly new at this, so I might make mistakes here and there. It's charge it to my head, not my heart. Okay. But again, thank you so much. And until we see each other tomorrow, we're going to have a guest here tomorrow. But what I have already done is I've challenged Tony, Quiet Storm to some of you, Tony to me. I've made a challenge for us to have a little runoff of name that tune, name that artist, name that movie, name that everything we can come up with. So if you'd like to tune in for that, I think we'll have a good time tonight. The other individual that's going to be coming, her name is Naima Bennett, and she's out of Atlanta. She's going to come up and speak to y'all for a few minutes about her nutrition program. And she actually also uh, did Angie Stone's hair a few times, hair and makeup. So she has a connection to Angie as well. It may not be as regular as her regular stylist, but she did have contact with Angie. She lives in Atlanta just like Angie did, and she has provided a service to her. And I would like to at least get her take on how it was to work with Angie. So if you would love to come back, I'd welcome you all back. Again, I love you guys, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Until I see you tomorrow, peace.
Hey Mickey, hey Mickey. Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you. Oh Mickey, you're so fine.
Hit the like button, it don't cost you nothing.